Mhm, mhm, mhm. Hey everyone, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. You're listening to Ethan Van Sciver. Let me just wait a minute. I'm not going to send Zach the link yet. I'm going to wait until we get a few more people in here. Let's see what happens. It's 9 o'clock at night on a Monday. I'm not so sure that there are so many people that are going to want to come in here and hear all about this, hear all about the incredible things that happened today. I don't know, but I will send Zach the link once we get to about 500 people. In the meantime, share this link out. Zach's very, very busy tonight. This isn't something that he likes to do too much of, as you know. Zach kind of likes to live stream by himself, but he's going to come on tonight. We're going to talk about this a little bit and just let everybody know exactly what's going on and make people happy. This makes me happy. I can't tell you how happy this makes me. I did like a roundhouse kick in midair. I did a roundhouse kick in midair. I was so happy about this. Good. Yeah, I'm gonna get Zach in here. We'll get him in here for about 15 minutes or so. And then I'll talk because the thing about it is I want to say some things that I can't say while he's here, and that is the problem. All right, hang on a second. I'll send him the link. We're almost there. Damn, this is great. What a great day, everyone. What a great day. Fantastic. All right, let me see here. Let's get him. He said, okay, I'm ready now. And we'll make this happen. Jeremy the Quartering wants to come in too, and I might bring him in. All right, there you go. All right, so let's get the Quartering in here as well, because I already did tell, dude. I already did tell. There you go. He's like, don't tell the crowd. Too late. Everyone knows. I don't keep secrets from my audience. Jeremy the Quartering. What do you think I am? Hi, everyone. Hi. Okay, so here's the situation. I think we had kind of a rough week with Comicsgate. Actually, I think it was the last couple of weeks were kind of rough, where we were super teamed. We were teamed up on by these people, by these weirdos, by these NPCs. And I still think they're SJWs. NPCs, these ones are SJWs. They're actually activists who scheme. I mean, they get together and plan and scheme to ruin people's livelihoods. Moobut says, is apple crisp considered pie? No. Well, I don't know. It walks the line. It does walk the line. It's got a crust and a fruit filling. So it might be. It might be. So yeah, this has been kind of a weird, rocky week, where I feel like there's been some unhappiness on some sides of the aisle of Comicsgate. That's fine. You can be unhappy. We can have disagreements. But the other thing is the SJWs really kind of teamed up and went hard at bringing down your boy Zach. They really came after him, and I think that was a dispiriting thing. They snuck up on him, and they filed 2 DMCA claims on him. 2. And one after the other. And if you know anything about YouTube, you know that it takes 3. It just takes 3 strikes, 3 copyright strikes, and YouTube doesn't even think about it. They'll just cancel your account. In which case, your boy Zach would not have his YouTube channel anymore, and that would be kind of a serious thing, I think. A very serious thing indeed. So last week, they were celebrating. They were celebrating on Thanksgiving. They were very, very excited about the idea, their premise that Comicsgate was on its last legs, that we were this close to defeat, to utter defeat. And it turns out that that wasn't the case. All right. So while we're waiting for Zach to get in here, I'm going to read some of these chats here. Let's see what you guys are saying in the live chat. I barely ever actually talk to you guys. All right. So Ethan Gates says liposuction, fatty. No, just treadmill liposuction. These people who get like stomach surgery and stuff, just get on the treadmill. Edwin Acevedo says, hail Zach. Serena Sketches says, oh, hi. And Eric Hawk says, I just had some raspberry pie. You're kidding me. What was that like? Is that a real thing? Is raspberry real, or is that something from Willy Wonka? I don't know. I've never had it. The burning sensation says, I hope he sues the shit out of him. Well, that's a big part of this, guys. Let's not forget exactly what is going on here. There is a lawsuit in motion. There's a very important lawsuit that's happening, and so everything about this is kind of. I don't think people realize how important this lawsuit is. Honestly, at the end of the day, I think everything hinges on this lawsuit, and a lot of people have their eyes on it. Now, we as a community, I think we've done everything that we could do. We made sure that there's plenty of money. We made sure that there is no real reason why we need to back down and accept anything less than total justice. Now, what is this lawsuit about? For those of you who aren't aware, your boy ZACK runs a YouTube channel. His actual name is Richard Seameyer. He runs a YouTube channel called Diversity&Comics. It's very, very popular. It's got like 93, almost 93,000 subscribers right now. If you look at most comic book commentary channels, they don't really come close to that. And he did it all in like a year and a half. So his channel's still young. And it's widely considered to be the biggest and I think the best respected. And by respect, I think fear goes along with that a little bit. I think a lot of professionals are actually afraid of catching his notice and getting reviewed on his channel because they know, I think most people know, his criticism is pretty bang on. It's pretty excellent, and it will actually cut to the heart of the matter. Yeah, he's got this big platform now because his criticism is so insightful and because so many people listen to him and feel the way that he does. And when ZACK actually offers criticism on SJW comic books, I think people listen to him and they go, yeah, wait a second, yeah, I agree with that. A lot of people agree with him, and that's kind of why his audience has grown so quickly. One of the big criticisms that he received in return over the years as he took apart these social justice warrior garbage comic books, and they were garbage. One of the big criticisms that he would always run into is, hey, yeah, you're somebody who can talk a lot, but it's not like you can do this. If you're so smart, why don't you do these? Why don't you do your own comic books? Why don't you put your money where your mouth is? So he ran an Indiegogo campaign. He was able to raise somewhere, I don't know if he's hit 500,000 yet, but I think he raised about at least $400,000, which is a shocking amount of money to actually produce a comic book. And he hired John Malin, who Marvel Comics cast off stupidly. Brilliant talent, John Malin, great guy to draw it. And what do you know? He's a go. He's got a comic book. His whole plan, his whole agenda, his whole idea, his hopes and dreams were to get this comic book published and then put into comic book stores. Now, I and he differ in this regard. I don't care if Cyberfrog's ever in a comic book store. I'm sure it will be. I'm sure it will be. I don't really care. It's not important to me because I've been in comic book stores my whole life. I'm really just out to put the comic book in the hands of people who want it. I don't want to put it. A middleman just isn't as important to me in this transaction. I want to just have me and you, and I will hand you the comic book. No, ZACK wants his comic book to be on the shelf because he wants people to have a choice between what Marvel's putting out in their Drek and then his book. That's what he wants. He wants to actually compete on a level playing field. Now, after all of this harassment, after all of this gibberish, and they're all so stupid, about oh, you can't do blah, blah. All right, so he's able to do a comic book. These people get together and they decide to find a way to prevent him from getting his comic book to come out. And Mark Waid actually went to the publisher, Antarctic Press, whom ZACK had a contractual agreement with, and basically said, hey, do you feel that rumbling hate mob underneath your feet? Do you feel that tidal wave of lunacy and craziness that's headed your way? Maybe we should talk about why that's happening to you. And then he had a conversation with this gentleman. This gentleman got scared. Of course he did. He's a doctor in real life. He owns a little comic book publishing house just as a side project for fun, as a hobby. He didn't want to. Who wants to get involved? Who wants to interact with social justice warriors? Nobody does, not even their parents. Anyway, this publisher, whose name was Ben Dunn, actually called ZACK and just said, I can't do this. I've never been so scared in my life. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to back out of this agreement. Now, Mark Waid, who was apparently the reason that this happened, went all over social media and crowed about how he did it. Listen, I had to stand up and let this guy know. Well, we don't tolerate. All right, whatever. Mark, you're in real trouble now. You broke the law. What you did was something called tortious interference. You got in between two people with a contract and caused that contract to dissolve. This is a crime punishable by death. Well, not death, man. Jail, lifetime imprisonment. No. I'd love him to go to jail. That would be cool. That'd be great. But no. You can't go to prison. You can't get the electric chair for this. But you can get your ass sued off of you for damages. And the question is, how much? How much? Hey, send me the invite after you about the subject. I already sent you the invite, dude. Well, I'll send it to you again. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. All right. So it's in your ZACK. It's in your private messages on Facebook. So just click on that when you're ready to come in after we get through the preamble here. What's going to end up happening is he's going to be sued for damages that are going to represent everything that your boy ZACK could conceivably have earned had he gone through with and fulfilled the contract with Antarctic Press. He could have been obviously he was going to be a very successful comic book writer. Because so many people love his YouTube channel. So many people ordered his comic book, and clearly this was going to go on and on and on, unhindered, without the interference of weirdos. And weirdos did interfere. Weirdos did hinder your boy ZACK, and that main weirdo was Mark Waid. Now, another weirdo, who has been the subject of criticism, light criticism from your boy ZACK, is a person named Mags Visaggio. Mags Visaggio has taken on, I believe, even after. Okay, now listen, let's be honest here. Your boy ZACK, maybe he went a little hard. Maybe when I'm saying light criticism, maybe he went a little bit hard on Mags Visaggio. She absolutely deserved it. She really did. Her comics are terrible. Her behavior on YouTube, on Twitter, is also abysmal. But your boy ZACK felt it in his heart. He felt it in his heart, and he came out and he apologized, for the fact that maybe he was a little insensitive here and there. He made a very generous donation to some suicide prevention charity for people who are transgendered. So this was quite a thing. But Mags Visaggio has not forgiven him and has carried on her vendetta ever since. Mags Visaggio actually said on Twitter something that I found to be unforgivable. At this point, something that I find to be abhorrent. Mags Visaggio said the important thing is his book isn't coming out. Okay, now that's not something that I can forgive. That makes her an active participant and somebody who cheers on tortious interference, somebody who actually wants to see people deplatformed, unemployed, destroyed, possibly even dead. These people never quit. They never, ever, ever quit. So in any case, here's where we find ourselves today. Some time has passed. Kwanzaa, Black AF author, actually filed a DMCA against on YouTube. It's a copyright strike on YouTube against your boy ZACK. YouTube upheld it for a little while. Strike one, and then once he went back and he told his weirdo NPC friends, including Mags Visaggio, about it, Mags Visaggio spent her Thanksgiving. What was she thankful for? She had nothing to be thankful for. It was a complete and utter Wanksgiving as she went through your boy ZACK's entire YouTube catalog, finding one video that mentioned her and reported it for copyright infringement. ZACK was now 2 strikes away from utter destruction until today. Welcome, your boy ZACK of Diversity&Comics. Welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets.
You have so much energy. Oh my God.
I have a lot to say. I got to say it quick.
Oh my gosh.
Happy to have you here. It's great to, listen, here's the thing. You're my brother. When you're in pain, I feel it. I can't tolerate these people who are actually actively trying to deplatform you. I think, and I've said it many times, what I know about the principles of Comicsgate, what I understand about, what's wrong with the comic book industry, and something is very, very wrong with it, but it takes somebody with keen insight like yours to actually identify it and articulate it, which is something that you do every single day. These people cannot be permitted to silence you. So I'm more than happy to stand up and do everything I can to make sure that your platform stays intact. My audience supports you. Obviously, we share a big audience together, and we'll never let this happen to you. So can you take it from here with my story? What happened?
So I just picked up the last little bit. I had to dip out earlier when you were talking about Subject X. But yeah, so obviously, probably most people here know I've done videos for about a year and a half, mostly reviews of comics, some other subjects. And on, what was it, the 21st, Kwanzaa hit me with a copyright strike. Now, there's two types of copyright strikes. One is really not that big of a deal. You do, the new Spider-Man movie's coming out. You do a reaction video. After a couple of days, they say, hey, all your ad money is going to the studio who owns it. You go, okay, fine. But the other one, and they literally say in the email, don't worry, you're not in trouble. Well, I got the other email that says you're in trouble. So Kwanzaa hit me up, or more specifically, his lawyer filed a complaint as a duly noted agent of the copyright owner, and hit me with the copyright strike. And this is a big deal because 3 of them take you down forever. And I've even heard some things where even other channels can sometimes get taken down if one gets taken down. So it's a big deal. Now, a couple of things happened. As soon as it happened, I said, I know the next step. He's going to tell everyone, because this is absolutely 100% not about protecting the copyright for characters and books he created. This is 100% malicious
and coordinated.
To, I heard you earlier and you were very hyped up, but the reality is they want to utterly destroy anyone who opposes them.
Correct.
Utterly. It is that thing about deplatform you. They want to take everything, every single thing. Not just, they don't want you to have a job in media. They don't want you to have a job anywhere. Let's not forget what happened to Nancy. The only thing that saved her job was knowing the boss, and they're still bringing her up 3 weeks later. So he filed it, and it was, at first I was just going to take it, because what happened is, I get review PDFs from insiders, and usually I wait till the book comes out. Now, sometimes that's a requirement, especially in movies. Sometimes they call it an embargo, and they'll say, we're going to let you see the next Spider-Man movie before it comes out, but you can't write about it till whatever, the Thursday before it comes out. And you got to sign a piece of paper. And if you break it, that's damages. That's a lawsuit. That didn't exist, but I just basically felt in the kind of fair cricket, marquee of Queensberry rules. It's like, you know what? So what happened is I did the video. I was very excited because the book was a joke. Like, it's ridiculously bad. And I knew it was going to be a great video. So I got so excited. Usually I always ask, but for some reason I thought it was already out. So I did it. And then wait a second.
Who sent you the PDF? You can't give a name, but give me a vague description of who sent it to you. How did you find the PDF?
I got an insider who gives me PDFs every now and then.
Okay.
So then I believe it was he said, hey, that book doesn't come out yet. And I go, because it was a new Kwanzaa video, so it did 2,000-3,000 in the first hour. I go, well, the damage is done, and I go, I might get a strike for this. I'll just take the hit. And so it was like a week later that the strike happened. So like I said, the strike happened, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. I go, he's going to contact everyone he knows, and he's going to tell him to do the same thing. So Mags, who we've had a history, me and Mags, and you yourself have chastised me several times for like, hey, I feel like your behavior's gone too far. So I go, okay, I'm going to reel it in. So basically, sometime in the summer, I did like an apology video, and then I basically took down all my videos about Mags, almost all of them. I thought, except for I missed one because it didn't have her name, any of her books' names in the title. So what happened is, as soon as Kwanzaa, in my opinion, maliciously filed to hurt my business. Now, I'm going to get into some other things, but one of the things these people are going to learn the hard way, legally, not a threat, is that Twitter rules don't work in the real world. They are constantly colluding and planning idiotically in open comms to destroy other people's business, mine, yours, the Brightwisers, whoever. There's no legal backing to that at all. Absolutely zero. You can say, I suck, Ethan sucks, don't buy it, protest all you want. But when you're purposely and maliciously colluding to destroy a business, and my business is a bunch of different income streams, you have no legal backing to it at all. And, luckily, Ethan's promoted the hell. I've got this huge war chest, and Ethan's a huge part of it. So, I talk to lawyers and I know stuff. I'm not guessing stuff or listening to Jamal Igle. So Kwanzaa filed one, and then told Mags, and Mags, and I'm sure other people helping her, maliciously, obsessively searched through 1,400 videos to find one where I showed some of her copywritten material. Now, it was fair use, and I'm willing to defend that in court as fair use. It was basically, I used to do comic book hangouts, and then some of them would be like a review and then a hangout, and some of them would just be kind of like a hangout, and I would just kind of like flip through this. This one I did 2 Kim and Kim books, which are all shit. These are like the worst comics you've ever seen in your life. They are pathetic.
They're angry. That's some angry. I mean, I've never seen a comic book like this with so much hate in it. I mean, just
that's the thing. Like, you keep trying to get me back to Twitter, and I go, no. Like, I feel so much better gone. When all this stuff happened today, when I beat the strikes, I went back. I peeked at some of these people in their timelines, and I told you in DMs a couple hours ago. I go, these are the unhappiest people I've ever encountered in my whole life. Like, homeless people are happier than these people. So Mags, or someone close to Mags, found a video where I basically did, these 2 comics suck, and then I just kept them on my lap, and we talked about whatever for like an hour and a half. Hit that one up. So it was kind of a big deal because I never got hit with the real copyright strikes. And if you watch my videos, you see me on like every one go, this for the copyright gods, not going to show these pages. The other thing about, if you watch my videos, is that that it would be the most pants shittingly insane way to pirate a comic watching my videos. I talk about stamps for 5 minutes. I pet a dog. And
you never show the full page.
I never show the whole page because the phone's like a couple inches away from the thing. It's shaking. You would lose your mind trying to pirate stuff watching my videos, and you're not going to see this. You're not going to see the whole page. You're not going to see the whole book. You're going to hear me drone about dogs and stamps and stupid stuff in my day. Like, you want to blow your brains out. Like, you're going to waste an hour and a half. You could go buy that for $3.99. You could be the first one to buy it. You could be the first person to buy a Mags Visaggio comic without pity or parody reasons. So she filed that, and I go, okay, so this is a big deal. 2, and I've only got 1 more, and it's a holiday weekend, which gives them the whole weekend to scour 1,400 videos and find one. Now, luckily, one of the things I say, and it's a little self-congratulatory, but I can say it about you, Ethan, I can say it about basically everyone, is all of us, and I know things are a little weird and people are in different factions, I've seen everyone grow over the last year and a half. You really notice this when you dip out of Twitter and then you go back into these SJWs and NPCs. They never, ever change. They are eternally the same. So basically, they're predictable in that form. So I said, I know what they're going to do. They're going to spend the whole weekend. Now, luckily, during the summer, I did some apology videos. I basically said, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm not going to talk about them. I barely talked about Mags since the summertime. Same with Kwanzaa. The only reason I did a video is because someone gave me a PDF. Quite frankly, I travel the country all the time. Quanzer's books are not in stores. Mag's books are not in stores. With a few exceptions at a few major stores that order everything in very large cities, they're not there. I'm not talking small towns. I'm talking medium-sized towns. People don't buy these books. That's why we see from issue 3, Mag's books, Quanzer's books, they're at less than 1,000. Mm-hmm. So basically, I had to do some research. I had to talk to some people because I was like, oh, what's going to happen? We got effectively a 4-day weekend. They got all this time. So luckily, I had basically battened down the hatches during the summertime. I talked to some people I trust. I was like, should I talk about this? Not talk about it. They said, talk about it. And then I deleted a couple other ones where I thought basically anything that was indie books, like, image books, I just deleted them. I go, okay, fine, let's delete till we figure out what to do. But then I was able to talk to, apparently Quanzer hits just some guy like every time. And he goes, calm down, you're going to beat this stuff. So then Nick Rekeita had me on his show. And he, I think by coincidence, he had a DMCA expert on that night. Maybe he called him in, I don't know. And he basically explained that this is, there's a couple things that I didn't know. Number one is YouTube really doesn't enforce this stuff. It's just kind of, they're just covering their own ass by, if someone does a claim, because there is actual counterfeit stuff, fraudulent use, copy and stuff, that there's basically a way for the copyright holder to say, this is mine, take it down. Mm-hmm. And then the person, if it's completely fraudulent, they'll just say, okay, fine, whatever. But then you can fight it. The problem for the copyright holder is if you fight it, then basically, it's like Mortal Kombat, the guy, he just goes like, Hajime, like, okay, you guys are fighting, so go to court, which makes the copyright holder have to put up or shut up and say, okay, I'm going to take you to court. So which happens, a couple of things. Number one, they got to have the money. Number two, they got to find a lawyer willing to take this shitty case. Number three, they got to go to a judge and explain why this isn't malice. I mean, like I said, I stopped talking about these guys about 4 or 5 months ago. A little bit here and there, basically dropped it. And they have obsessively tracked me, stalked me, coordinated with people, and in open comms plan to take me down. And
been reasonable with them. You've been trying to work things out. I've watched it happen. And they are never, they don't seem to want to let it go. And by the way, the thing about them is, even if they did destroy your YouTube channel, they'd never stop because these people completely operate on dopamine and it felt good. It made there's no stop. They will not. The funny thing is, like 3 months ago, if I would have said this, you would have said, Zach, calm down. I think I can say this and you won't say it. If I was homeless, they would be trying to find what shelter I'm in to get me kicked out of it. That is absolutely true. They're what we call nerd bullies. Nerd bullies don't know when to quit because nerd bullies learned what bullies were from movies and TV. And they've been picked on their whole lives. And now that the world has kind of moved on from this idea of jocks being bullies, which was bullshit to begin with, these people are basically acting out of rage, this inner turmoil, this inner just that they have against people who they consider to be, hey, this is the type of person who is more of an alpha than I am. This is a person who I resent for some reason. And they will never, ever quit because, Zach, if they had gotten your YouTube channel, they would have had power for a split second. But that power would have gone away. And then they would have seeked it again by pushing you down further and further. They will never stop until you're dead. And that is not an exaggeration.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And somebody in the comments said it the other day. They go, this is the first time in history that cowards can gain power. In all human history, you had to risk some kind of, risk versus reward. And these people can sit there and they'll try this week, this next week. But and other people have given me a war chest and I'm going to use this thing. It's going to be put up or shut up time. Okay. So you want to challenge fair use, which is a right of mine. Fair use, for people who don't know, fair use basically says, I don't own black, but I can do a review of it. And there's all sorts of aspects to it. One aspect that saves you is it a transformative work? Am I basically just reading his book, which would let you read it for free? Or am I talking? That black one that I took down I literally had to talk to myself. Because like I said, I've tried to listen to people when they say, "Hey, you're going too far. You back off." I listen to people. I listen to my enemies. Even if my enemies have something reasonable to say, I will listen to them. A good idea is a good idea, no matter who it comes from. So I said, because also he had been doing some stuff. I'd been getting reports. I've been staying out of it, but it was really petty stuff. So I was a little angry, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be angry, but it's going to be fun. But it's mainly going to be about art. So that video was not, "Ha ha, he sucks." The video was about, there's all different types of art styles. You chose this artist who appears to be objectively bad. Let's figure out why you did it. It was my closest, approximation of being, an art teacher or having like an actual intellectual conversation. He put a strike against it purely out of malice, purely to destroy me, and it will never ever stop. So that's why you've raised so much money. We got to lawyer up because Twitter rules don't work in the real world. And malice is if I remember correctly, it's either it increases the damages by 2 or 3 times. You did something, you broke the law. Here's the damages. But then malice.
Hey guys, how are you?
Oh, hey. Hi, Jeremy. Yes, Jeremy, the quartering. What is going on, my friend?
God.
Yeah, we had to catch everybody up with this. Are you following this bullshit? I mean, nonsense?
Yeah, of course. I'm following it very closely. I made a video about it on.
Yeah, I watched that one yesterday on a subway platform in Brooklyn.
Well, that seems like a weird place to masturbate, but that's, I mean, yeah. It's I just wanted to pop in and commend both of you all on all the things you got going on. It's been really impressive, and also to reinforce the idea that I believe that at first I felt like litigation was kind of dumb, but it appears to be working. It provides real world consequences for this digital crybaby behavior, cry bully behavior.
Yeah.
And I would be extraordinarily shocked if any one of these idiots ever ponied up, and tried to defend their actions. Now, Mark Wade did surprise me.
We don't talk about him, not with ZACK on. So let's avoid that topic entirely.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So I think that the more consequences that stack up, the less likely that these little cabals will continue to go on.
Well, we have to do it. I mean, this is the whole thing. This is what our community is for. We're actually going to fight back because, here's the thing. ZACK, I will say, and Jeremy, I don't know if you saw this, but ZACK made, for anyone, I think any sane person, any person who was well balanced, ZACK did everything he could to apologize or try to make amends with or come to terms with Mags Visaggio, for example. Somebody who had a complaint against him. Yeah, it's something that I recommended he not do. Fuck Mags Visaggio. You never said anything about Mags that wasn't true. Okay, yeah. But you're such a good person, ZACK, that you actually did do that. You donated $10,000 to a charity of her choosing. That should have been it. That should have been it. And you promised to walk away and not bring up Mags ever again. And you haven't really until now when you have to, because Mags has come after your livelihood. Mags will never stop. And people have said, Mags, why don't you just stop at this point? You can have hard feelings all you want, but why are you still fighting like this when he's not?
Well, because it's the only thing that keeps it relevant. I mean, the thing is, this is where their mind is at. That, I mean, knowingly filing a false DMCA or a copyright strike is illegal. And these people do it anyway. You know what I mean?
Well, everything that they do is illegal, unethical, and dishonest. And these are their tactics. Well, it would be pretty easy to defeat Comicsgate. All you'd have to do is just fight back at us with better criticism, okay, or better comics. But these people are unable or unwilling to do that. And instead, they employ all kinds of dishonest, dirty tricks, tactics, schemes, collusion, coordination. And they coordinate with the media. It's funny, Jeremy. I'm picking up on Gamergate. I wasn't there. I wasn't paying attention. So I'm watching Gamergate videos now from the original guys. And it's all the same thing. This is the way these people operate. They will not stop. Simply, if we just walk away and give up and just mind our own business, they will not join us in minding our own business. They will continue to harass. They will continue to stalk. They will continue to do everything they can to deplatform and destroy us. So today,
we got to stop using the word deplatform. It's destroy.
Destroy.
That's just a word they use, and that is a thing that exists to some people. But no, they're destroying. I did that hour and I did this video. It was an hour and 15 minutes. And I thought no one was going to watch it. I thought it was too long. It's been the biggest hit I've ever done. People are saying it's the best thing I ever done, probably ever do. But one of the things that, one of the things that is good about travel is there's a lot of dead time to just kind of think. Mm-hmm. These people are evil. And I mean, not to, brag. I was just Joe Schmo soldier. But when I left Afghanistan, I literally said to myself, I'm never going to see an evil person again. These people are evil. They have black hearts. They want to destroy. If they could see me starve to death in a ditch, they would do it. I mean, their obsession is beyond madness. I could feel sorry for someone who's just mentally ill. They know what they're doing is wrong because they literally affect supervillain persona. They never talk like normal people. Yeah. They cackle. They collude. They connive. What part of conniving sounds, even the word sounds evil? Like, hey, we're going to connive. Like, no, that sounds bad. Like, just the word sounds bad.
Well, here's the thing. Like, if what you're doing in private would destroy, humiliate, or turn people against you were it revealed to the public. Okay, that's the thing. If we actually were able to show these people colluding and planning and coordinating, it would destroy their lives. So if what you're doing in private is evil and shameful and would turn people against you if they knew it, perhaps you're on the wrong side of history. And with that, I just want to say hello to Nick Rekeita Law. Thank you for joining us. We have a power panel tonight. This is quite a show.
Hey, guys, what's up?
Well, let me tell you what's up. Today, we came back from the brink. And, fellas, me and Zach are at the front line of this little angle of the culture war. I know that you guys are fighting, culture war battles on your own fronts. But he and I, this little band of brothers here with our guys behind us, are fighting this thing on the front lines. And they almost took Zach out. They came real close to it. And they were celebrating on Thanksgiving. This horrible, Renfamous person was just like comic skates on its last legs. We're a fucking millipede, okay? There are no end to the legs that we have. You have not seen our last legs, nor will you ever. We are going to stand up and continue to fight. Today was a big deal. Your boy Zach was right on the verge of being deplatformed / destroyed. I'll go ahead and say that by having his channel shut down. YouTube stood up to those people.
Well, you know what I'm wondering if what actually happened here is I don't think YouTube actually dictates whether or not that's a good complaint or not. I think they became aware that Zach was going to fight back legally, and they dropped their claims.
Yeah, that's so. So they present it one way, and there's. I don't know if this just started. So what happened is, they say you can file a counter claim. It's a different word, but it's counter something. So I filed it, I don't know, on Friday or Saturday. And then first thing this morning, I got an email that said, we're rejecting your initial counterclaim because we don't think you understand how serious it was. If you're doing a counterclaim, you're challenging them and you can end up in court. So I submitted the counterclaim again. And then I added the line, I am willing to defend my right to fair use and free speech in court. And there was no review. It was basically like an automatic thing. So Nick and his friend, they basically explained that they're not really, they mentioned this thing about 10 days to respond, but I haven't seen that 10 days thing. Basically, as soon as you say, yes, I'm challenging it, they just go, okay, fine, it's back up.
Yeah, the 10 to 14 days comes from the actual DMCA statute. So the process that YouTube follows is dictated by federal law. The DMCA takedown is requested, and YouTube will pretty much take it down if they can find infringing content at all. They don't do any sort of fair use assessment. It's really just, is the content in there that you say is in there? If they find that content, they do a takedown, issue the strike, and then you have the opportunity to file the counter notice. And the counter notice sets a timer. And if the other party does not produce court papers within 14 days, then the YouTube actually is obligated by law to return the video and take away the copyright strike. So what probably happened is when you filed your counter notice and said you are willing to defend it in court, they sent a notice back to them, and maybe they decided, whoa, wait, we're not going to produce those papers, and let them back out of it.
I don't think there was a reaction because the amount of time was the same. I got kind of like a form letter, and then 15 minutes later first it was for the Kwanzaa, and then it was staggered. It was literally staggered almost at the exact amount of time for me submitting them. I think there might have been a human review, but it might have just said, court click. I don't think it went to Kwanzaa or Mags. So what happened when I got it back up, I was happy.
It would have happened.
Well, I think I got a notice because then about an hour later, I got another notice that basically showed me what the original complaint is. And the complaint is, it looks like drop downs, radio buttons. It doesn't look like you write anything. You basically say, do I own this? How much of the video has my copyrighted material? Both of them said all. What is my copyrighted material? Drawings. That was I get the closest thing to comics. So I think that they got a notice of but I don't think Kwanzaa or Mags had to click something for me to get the video back. I think they got some email that basically said, well, you take them to court or not. It's up to you.
Yeah, and I guess that's how it should be, right? Like, nut up or shut up.
Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people have complaints about YouTube, but I found it to be quite fair. You got to do a little bit of research, and sometimes it's confusing. But I've fought everything, every single thing I've fought successfully, and the only thing I wasn't successful was because I screwed up and I deleted it. And then you can't fight for something that got deleted. And then with the two videos, they went back up. Weirdly enough, one of them was permanently demonetized and the other one wasn't. But the one that was permanently demonetized was the one I got super chats for. But I was originally just going to delete it because I know these people, they're obsessive. They'll try to file the claim again. But then I realized, oh, wait, no, I signed the thing that said, you're willing to defend it, so I can't delete it because I could be deleting evidence. So I just privated both of them.
All right, let me ask you something that I think a lot of people are wondering about. Now, at this point, are you going to go back to reviewing Mags Visaggio and Kwanzaa comic books?
Yes, absolutely. And this is kind of related to the thing with this Dave McKean book. It's like we got to push back against this. These people, they're not just everyone has their little internet foes and enemies, but these people want to destroy, and it's not just me, it's anyone. That thing with Nancy, this is a minority woman who donated money she earned. And within an hour, it was like 12:30 at night, they showed her face, they showed her work. And then these psychopaths were calling her. These psychopaths stalked her and found her home. Like, there's got to be some pushback. There's got to be some court cases. There's got to be more than one court case. It can't just be the big one I'm working on. There's probably going to be another one.
Yeah.
They got to learn there's consequences because they know there's consequences. They want consequences for us. They want us to lose jobs, lose deals. They want us to get kicked out of apartments. They want all that stuff. Mm. But if that's the deal, it's got to apply to them also. They don't just get to, oh, whoopsie doopsie. Like, no, you tried to destroy me. You tried to harm me. You've shown a willingness to never back off. You want to destroy every single part of my life. You want to destroy. Nancy could have been fired.
They don't even believe Nancy exists, and that's my fault. I slept.
No, because we arranged to talk, and then you sleep like a weirdo. You sleep at random parts of the day. We had 2 times, and you were sleeping at what, 4:30 in the afternoon, 6:30 at night. Who sleeps there? So I finally said, fine. The thing is, we're trying to prove the truth to psychopaths.
Yeah.
I'm tired of them. They can do whatever they do, and when they cross the line to get into a court or to get arrested, that's what it'll be.
You're trying to prove someone exists who they went out of their way to prove exists.
That's right.
They called and they heard her. Yeah. The thing is, they don't commit to their own bits. They were saying, oh, this is a poor woman that I picked her name out of the. So why would you target her? And why did you guys call her? Why did you call her?
Like you called her. First of all, we didn't do anything. We just gave you the name. You looked her up. You found her, you called her at work, you called her at home, you left a message on her machine, and then we have the message. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
You know that that little thirsty virgin on Twitter is the guy who did it, right?
I don't know.
Oh, I know exactly who it was. He owned up to it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to mention him. Don't want to give him any credit, but like, just imagine. I mean, imagine if one of you were to call one of these little Twitter crusaders, or if someone on here and they could identify who it was. Imagine the level of I don't even know what horrific word I could think of, the backslappery that would happen with everybody. Like they would endorse the murder of that person. I'm fully convinced that they would.
Well, you would never get them. I'm sure their mom would answer the phone and they'd be downstairs in bed or maybe at their part-time job. And, there really be no tracing it.
Well, here's what I want to say. I want to say this. After this incident has happened and after I can see that this will never end, I'm fully committed to this. I want to continue to fight. And that's going to be a big deal in 2019. 2019 is all caps comics, Comicsgate, what I call phase 2. Where we actually open up into business and we actually fight these people on their own terms, not just on Twitter, not just on YouTube, not just criticism anymore, but providing a product that is actually superior to theirs. So that's phase 2. But the other part of this is, Zach, I never want to cede ground ever again. I never want you to say, you know what, maybe I'm not going to do the Kwanzaa voice. Maybe I'm not going to make fun of
the Kwanzaa voice is staying, and the Kwanzaa puppet is on order.
What is this?
You got to bring out more Kwanzaa memes. You got to double down like they do. You got to have a Kwanzaa-cation. What do you call conversation? You got to get lots of sweet Kwanzaa puns, and you've got to double down because this, and I know you've always been somebody who just, you don't really want to, the confrontation isn't something that you look for necessarily, but at the same time, you can make your videos and just let it be and continue to be you, because that's kind of the dude that people fell in love with, and if you let them change who you are or the data you present or the conversations you have, then they win, and that. So don't let them don't let them make you scared of doing the Kwanzaa voice or the Megs.
We'll back off because we're decent people, Jeremy. And if somebody says, "Hey, that hurts my feelings," we assume that they actually have human feelings.
Well, yeah, that's a big thing. It's one of our disadvantages, and again, this gets a little self-congratulatory, is that we're not psychopaths, and
right.
we will actually say, "Hey, maybe I went too far. Maybe I should dial it back." And then you dial it back, and either people say like, "Hey, you didn't need to do that," or they go, sometimes people say that's fine. I've had a fan who became a friend, and she said, I never liked you on Twitter. I thought you were abrasive. I feel like YouTube's closer to the real you, and that's the person that I like. And I've felt that way too. I feel like Twitter does something to people. There's very few people who get onto Twitter and act better. It seems to encourage acting worse. I wanted to get out of that, but we can drop things. Like, these people do horrible things to us. They try to stalk us and our kids. They try to destroy us in every single way. And we're just like, hey, whenever I chill out, I'm going to say, hey, chill out, and hopefully things get better. But we see they just get worse. They never stop. So it's going to be court. It's going to be court a couple times. and we got to watch out. But I will back off on things because I listen to my friends, and some people say, "Hey, you've gone too far," and I go, "Okay, so let me dial it back." And sometimes they go, "You dial it back too far." I go, "Okay, so let me go forward." If the thing that shows that we're human is not only that we make mistakes, but we're trying to figure out the limits. Like these people, these SJWs, like they're always, well, no, I can't say they're always the same because I've seen some of them become worse, steadily worse, but I've never seen any of them get better. So I'd say that's the big difference, is that we try different things. As far as ceding ground, there's some ground that I don't want. I'm firm. I encourage everyone to leave Twitter. Twitter is, unless I've seen like people with really stable personalities, like Just Some Guy and Mid Headroom, and they never really seem to get infected. But I mean, quite honestly, Ethan, I told you in private, I feel like you should do it less. I love seeing your art.
Too, Zach.
I love your art. Every time I see your art, I go, I know he's been off Twitter less because I'm seeing more art. I love it. I think you like Twitter. I hate it, so I'm off of it forever.
I love it.
But I think less is more. Less would be better.
Well, these people, I was to say, I got a dip, but I wanted to say that it's interesting that these people are, they're really the personification of that old saying about crabs in a bucket. Like where they, the fishermen put crabs in a bucket, they don't put a lid on it. And people say, well, why don't you put a lid on it? Well, that's because the crabs inside the bucket are always pulling the other ones down. They're trying to get out. And that's how I see a lot of these people. And they win when they waste your time. They win when they distract you. And I think if you can't control yourself on Twitter, or you just don't want to do it, then separating it is not going to really hurt you that much.
And it hasn't hurt me, financially. My views for a good video are the same as before. I got a goofy, fun video I'm going to do after this, and it's literally watching the Marvel float from the 1987 Thanksgiving Macy's Day Parade. Like, positive, fun content gets views just as well as roasting. Yeah. So with you got to go, Jeremy. But yeah, I've agreed with everything you said tonight.
You guys I really appreciate the support of the community, and I will always keep an eye on the comics, the all comics gate / all caps / whatever. You guys all know how to get a hold of me. And
Jeremy, I want to say something before you go to you.
Yeah, me
in
too.
Particular. All right. I want to talk about the stream that you had and the things that a couple of big YouTubers were saying to you about an incident that I'm involved with. And I want to double down on encouragement with what you're doing and let you know that they are wrong. What you were doing, what basically for anyone in the chat, Jeremy was assaulted outside of a bar at a convention by a political ideologue who attacked him while he was intoxicated and punched him in the face.
Psychopath.
A nut. Okay.
Psychopath.
Now, his friends are trying to be badasses and say things like, well, you should have punched him back. All right, look, maybe so, but that is a side of the problem here. The main problem is that Jeremy represents an opportunity now to inflict consequences for people who want to, out of sheer malice and their ideology, commit acts of violence on people they disagree with in public areas. So, Jeremy, they were wrong. Those guys, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I know the score with them. Hey, let me give you guys an exclusive court case update. Well, there's really not a huge update, but he did respond. I didn't make a video about this. And he's hired a lawyer in my state. And they've asked to move the case here. I won't say which way I'm leaning currently. I'm investigating the judges around here and decide if it's in my benefit or not. But the case is going forward. I'm glad it is. And that in terms of the comics community that came together to help build that war chest for me, I'm in good shape. I don't need anything else right now. And I've kept that stash completely separate account, separate accounting. And if you follow my GoFundMe, you see I post updates whenever I have to pay the lawman, half Asian super lawyer, Bill Richmond. But yeah, it's going forward, and I'm actually really it's weird to say, and I'm actually everybody in here is basically involved in lawsuits, but I'm really looking forward to it actually starting. It's weird to say that, but I'm like, let's go. You know, I want to get this thing going.
Yeah, well, hurry up and wait, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I've been told the same.
I was just gonna say, good luck on your unicorn hunt. I've been watching Pacer, waiting for documents to drop, buddy. So good luck with it. The guy's a piece of trash.
Yeah, I got him. It'll be great. I'm surprised I was about 50-50, to be honest, that he would just not respond and default on it. But we'll see. It's basically finally just beginning. I don't know how many months it's been. 3 months almost, right?
Yeah, quite a while.
So yeah, that's exactly right. Everybody takes, you know this, everybody takes, if you have 21 days, you're waiting 20 and 0.75 days before you hear anything back. So
unless you're a prosecutor in criminal court, then you can just wait past the deadline. The judges don't care.
Yeah. No, I appreciate the words of support, Ethan. I still watch basically everyone's content. I enjoyed the search for pies. I was a little frustrated that I was curious where this pot and chicken pie or whatever it was.
Chicken and pot pie. Yeah, sounds good, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that. I didn't know if that was legal in your state, but
it's not.
It's very
New Jersey, and it isn't.
Yeah. But thank you, and you guys all be good.
All right, brother. Good luck. Yeah. So all right. So this is the thing. I finally the last thing I want to know. So you're never coming back to Twitter, Zach?
No.
All right, so let's talk about Splato Delgado, because the other thing that people wanted to know yesterday, they said Zach's given up on Splato Delgado. He is never going to start up his own publishing house. He's just going to do these 2 comics, and then that's going to be it. Now, are they right? Because I said they weren't right, but I didn't really ask you directly.
Yeah, that's not right. I'm not sure where that came from. I mean, I talk in my videos about future stories all the time.
All right, so let me see if you align.
We've already got the next book. It's like halfway done. The next book.
It's really good too.
Dude, great. that is good. Like, it's. I'm not kidding. Like, I showed you that one snippet, and it's crazy.
Has anybody seen it yet? Have you shown it off or no?
Just a couple people.
Okay, all right. No, not publicly. No, I guess not. There's no Twitter. Okay, so here's what I'm doing next year. All right, so next year I'm starting All Caps Comics. Nick Rekeita is going to be my lawyer. Nick Rekeita is actually thinking about doing a comic book, I believe. Is that true or false? Did I make that up?
No, you didn't make it up. I've got a buddy who's a comic artist professionally right now, and we've got a story put together. We just have to actually storyboard it out. I don't have experience writing comics, so I'm learning that as we go. But once that's around, I'll talk about it. But it's one of, as you guys know, it's one of those things that takes a bunch of time and coordination with someone who has a real job. So
that's right. So it is a lot of work. But anyway, so next year is going to be all about starting up our own little imprints. Our own little publishing houses. So mine is called All Caps Comics. I want to make sure that I am here to help you set up your version, your Splato Delgado, and make sure that actually happens. So anything that I can do to make that happen, I'm here to do so. Do you mind if I spoil? Can I show this page you sent me, or is that out of line right now?
No, please don't.
You don't want people to see it?
No.
Dude, what do you... All right. I thought you were going to say yes, because I'm looking at it right now, and I'm like, damn, dude. Why not? It's just secret?
Dude, I got to get the first 2 books out. This whole year's been a learning experience, I'm sure, for pretty much all of us. And one of my things is I'm not going to do anything concurrent. Everything's going to be consecutive. So it's like Iron Sights, the last book will go out in 3 days, and then next will be Jawbreakers is going to the printer tomorrow. So I don't want to. People got a little bothered. They're like, "Hey, don't tell me about the next thing. You need to get me this thing." So It's going to be 100% finished. And I mean the entire print file finished before the next crowdfunding starts. So there'll be a little while, like 4 months or so. So I want to concentrate on the things I've already promised and already been paid for, get all that out. Then we'll start talking about the next thing. But there absolutely is. The next book is, I guess, probably about 40%, 45% done. And then there's going to be, since I did 2 books this year, shoot for 3 next year.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, well then I guess the chat's just gonna have to take my word as I look at this, that this is one of the best looking Comicsgate projects. I can't believe our books look like this.
Yeah, I'm really happy. The artist is fantastic. He's busy. He's not online. He's drawing. I'm very, very happy about this. Just to describe it, it's an action scene with knife hand from a $300 million movie. Like, it's nuts. And the thing is, like, the guy took it straight out of my brain. Like, he really, really got it. So you guys are going to flip out when you see this.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right, Zach, I don't want to take up any more of your time. You can get back to work. I want to talk to Nick Rekeita about your legal situation. I have some questions for him.
Okay, I actually had a little thing to talk about. I was going to get it before Jeremy got on there. So, I see a lot of people talking about the fight and the aspects of it. But again, not to brag about myself, but I'm a combat vet. He did everything right.
Explain yourself.
Because we have these things called battle drills, and which are standard ways to react to being attacked, or clearing trenches and stuff like that. He got attacked from behind. He has no idea what's going on. He doesn't know the guy was pulling out a meat cleaver. He doesn't know if he was pulling out a gun. I've seen a picture of the area he was in. There was a metal fence in between him. He couldn't get to the guy. This guy did literally the most cowardly attack he could do. A choke from behind with a metal, little low fence, kind of, to separate. You know how bars are. They have to, like, this part of the sidewalk is legally you can drink here, and this part you can't. So he got attacked from behind, disoriented, hit in the head. He went about, it was like 6 feet into the place, basically figured out what was going on. This is the normal human reaction. The whole thing about training, boot camp, and all the training a combat marine, a combat soldier, combat whatever it does, is they inculcate you into not doing the thing that you would naturally do. They basically say, you're getting attacked, attack back. You're getting a sneak attack. The normal human animal response is to get away and then figure out what's happening. So I see a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking on him, and I'm just going to say all of it's wrong. He did what was the normal, reasonable thing to do. And also, you have to factor in that this person is a psychopath. This person tracked him down. I consider what he did to be terrorism. He tracked him down for his political beliefs, to assault him, to intimidate him into not speaking that type of stuff again, and to let that spread to others, to be afraid. They want you in fear of being physically attacked. These people fantasize about violence daily, absolutely daily, and it's absolutely abnormal to fantasize about this. They have a movie's version of violence, and this, I forgot this guy's name. This chicken
Matt
shit.
Fantastic, I believe.
Yeah.
Matt Loader.
Yeah. Psychopath coward. So he's finding out the real life, repercussions of doing something like that. So Jeremy did everything right, everything legal, everything normal. We're dealing with psychopaths. So we have to be better than them.
Yeah. I want to do something to them that actually, well, we can't let this devolve into a street fight between gangs. These people are degenerates. We actually have to do whatever we can do to actually impose consequences that last beyond a black eye or a bloody nose. I mean, we have to get involved with the legal system to make sure that they know there are consequences for doing this. The legal system does not agree with your punch a Nazi bullshit. There will be serious consequences that will, in fact, I want this dude. I want his grandchildren to be pissed at him for this. I want there to be long-lasting consequences for this guy who just thought it was his place to go up to Jeremy, who's a big gentle giant. I don't know if Jeremy can fight. I don't really expect him to. He isn't a combat vet like you. He's just having a drink. He's being his own guy. He criticizes Magic the Gathering on YouTube. For that, you want to beat his ass? What the hell is wrong with these people? And that's what we deal with every single day here. And it's like, if they don't want to beat your ass, they want to take away your means of feeding yourself and your kids. They want to take away your home. They want to do everything they can to destroy your life. And really what's maddening about it is it's over pop culture. So the opinions that we have about pop culture.
At this point, we're just a magnet for psychopaths because they're given a kind of like a moral excuse card. We're attracting people who have no actual interest in comics at this point. That's why I used to jealous, because a year ago it was fun. I know you got problems with Daryl. I do too, but he likes comics. We're now dealing with psychopaths and stalkers who don't even talk about comics, but they talk about you and me for 18 hours a day. We're just a magnet. It's just derangement syndrome. It's, Ethan and Zach derangement syndrome.
You think I should get off of Twitter?
You seem to generally like it, and if you like it, people ask me for advice on stuff, and I say, do whatever increases your happiness, safety, and wealth. And if it's pulling from any of those, then you should probably drop it or do it less. I did it less, and I still didn't like it, so I didn't do it all, and I love that. That's freaking great.
Let me ask the chat real quick. Chat, why don't you say yes or no if I should get off of Twitter? If you guys think I should get off of Twitter so that I am no longer a magnet for psychopaths, even though I sometimes Twitter gets me down, but for the most part, it's I enjoy it. What do you guys think? Should I get off? And Nick, what do you think?
Man, if you get off Twitter, that's just more percentage chance that people will bother me. No, you stay there. You stay right there. Don't you dare leave.
That did happen, because when I left, Ethan started getting it a lot harder. A lot harder.
Yeah, but I like it though. I like it. I have no respect for these people.
You're saying you like it rough? Is that what's going on?
I do. I do. I have no respect for these people whatsoever. And one of them today, I had this ridiculous, this guy, Andrew, what's his name? Andrew Frago. Cyber Frago. This guy came after me. Everybody else was kind of quiet about what happened because they knew like this was a big deal. But Andrew Farago came after me big time today. And he just said, how did you manage to work in comics for so long without developing any respect whatsoever for your colleagues? Nick, these people with the blue hair are my colleagues, quote unquote. And I'm supposed to respect them. These people who are trying to make me homeless. I should respect them. And if
don't 95% of them not even have jobs, much less in comics?
Yeah, they're all like scraping the. This is the behavior of like impoverished people, like desperate, angry, poor people. This isn't anything that normal people get involved with. But I've never seen such thin-skinned bullshit creatives with no talent. I mean, I respect talent. I don't respect this. I don't respect these people. None of these people who are harassing me have ever done anything close to something that I would respect. Having worked with Jeff Johns and Ivan Rice, having worked with Gary Frank and Grant Morrison and Frank Whiteley, you think I respect you? I mean, are you kidding me? Your stuff is garbage. And the other thing is, these people have no ethics. So even if it's not a question of talent, I would respect them if they were ethical, moral, upstanding people, and they are not. They are. I
gotta say, they have no loyalty to each other. If you saw this thing with Neil Gaiman and Dave McKean is being crucified right now. They just put a article in The Guardian. It's a big paper in the UK where he's from, I believe. And if you know this story, I'm gonna do more follow-ups to this, because this is the most heartbreaking, disgusting thing. Basically, two people on Twitter shut down a book that was completely finished and about to be published. And now the artist is on his knees debasing himself and none of his friends. Neil Gaiman, he's worked with him for 30 years. They did Arkham Asylum. Total silence, absolute silence.
Yeah, I was. Someone sent me an article about that. It's like it was at the time. It was speculating what's Neil Gaiman going to do because he supported Wade. Is he gonna back up his other friend? No.
Nope. And this is Neil Gaiman spent 3 days lying, rewriting his own history of entering the industry to basically cover for this. I forget her name. She's writing Ironheart, the Riri Williams book. A woman who got in based on she has the same skin color and hairdo as the character. So there went through 2 weeks of every comic artist you've heard of, writer, rewrote their entry into the industry, lying in real time, flat out. And they all wrote, oh, yeah, your 5th book was actually your first. Your 3rd year in the comics was, and Neil Gaiman was rewriting his history. And so I just dropped it. But then when a friend of his he's known for 30 years, silence, and this guy's being destroyed. I would buy the rights to this book. I would buy the publishing rights. But I'm pretty sure, I'm going to check into it, but I'm pretty sure they're going to just eat it because these people, these are, you got psychopaths, you got creeps and cowards, and it's too
Zach,
much.
We have an obligation to make the offer, to extend the offer, and I'm
going to do it, and we should talk about this too. It's going to be
publishing it.
My idea is basically a twofer where it would be, you would sell 2 books to people, 2 books for the price of one. You say, hey, here's your book, and go find your local library and donate it to them, get it on the shelves. Because that's what it was supposed to be. This is a book that was trying to reach people who were attracted to violent extremism. And G. Willow Wilson said, I'm against this. And one of her friends identified themselves as an anti-CVE activist. CVE is countering violent extremism. G. Willow Wilson said this story, and she totally tried to make it look nefarious. She started it with this NGO. They did some research. It was Amnesty International, the guys who try to keep people from being tortured. And she implied it was some kind of nefarious organization.
When we say to our listeners that radicals have taken over the comic book
extremists
industry are in control, we're not kidding. We're not just referring to big dummies like Moose Bauman. We're talking about really dangerous.
She's writing Wonder Woman. Freaking Wonder Woman is being written by a woman who gleefully talked about refusing to work on books that would help de-radicalize people. Right. She helped get a book that was about de-radicalizing people taken off, and she was ecstatic, and she mocked the entire. It was originally created, from what I read, by freaking Amnesty International. Yeah, people who don't want people to be freaking tortured. Like, what? We are through the looking glass. Like, this is insanity. We have extremists, like you said. It's not about liberals. I love liberals. Most of my fans are liberals. Most of the people who buy my stuff. I sold thousands of books overseas. Nobody in Singapore cares about Republicans versus Democrats. Singapore and freaking Romania, all these places, they just want these comics. That's what they care about. The rescuing the giant monkey. people want to hurt the giant monkey. We got to protect them. These people are cool. They got muscles and guns. Cool, whatever. And we're dealing with psychopaths who say, I find the way that you're trying to de-radicalize possible terrorists, I find it problematic. Yeah. I don't like the way you're doing this. Also, Amnesty International is a little iffy to me. I'm not sure if I like the people who don't want people to be tortured. Like, what the hell?
Zach, I think you're overlooking something. Amnesty International is an NGO that's been around for decades and has, millions of dollars, lots of experts who have studied this. But what do they know? Because this is a comic book writer.
The thing that bothered me was the glee about it. Like, I did the video. I showed the tweets. She was mocking the people trying to do this. I mean, they're literally trying to. We saw this. I mean, I try not to talk about it because I know they're going to say we're using it too much. But So Ethan earlier said I donated because of Mags, and that's not exactly true. First of all, I did not donate to the charity that Mags suggested because I did some research into it. It's only a couple years old. It wasn't very solid. I found one that was 20 years old and it's solid as a rock. But the $10,000 came from Ethan donating 10,000. That's where the number came from, you know, and they mocked that. They tried to get it canceled. They tried to get it returned. Like, these people are evil. Like,
Yeah.
How do you sit there and go, hey, that guy I don't like, he's donating a charity. Let's try to get that stopped. Like, how do you say that out loud without hearing how it sounds? It sounds like something a supervillain would say. It sounds like something a psychopath would say. Who tries to get charities returned?
Well,
Absolutely.
St. Jude's and YouTube, but that's a different story.
It's
Sorry.
all
Sorry.
tactics. It's all tactics. It's all like, hey, how can we stop this guy from having a good optic moment? Like, that's how they look at it. They didn't look at what you were doing as a moment where you wanted to do something that to sort of balance out something in the universe. They saw it as, he's going for an optical movement. His optics. We've got to stifle his optics. And that was the whole thing. How can we get ZACK to not have his moment of looking good? We've demonized him. We call him.
But I didn't even have that moment. I knew they were psychopaths. I knew they would obsess over this. So all I said is, hey, I'm going to do this. I did it. I proved I did it. Screenshots. And that was over. I didn't mention that thing happened like 2 or 3 months ago. I didn't talk about it.
Yeah. No, it was personal. But I mean, the thing is, again, these people project. Everything they do is project, and they think that we do what they do and we don't do what they do, and that confuses them. They really have they say some weird things that I do not understand. I can't relate to. And all I can do is just kind of shrug. Stephen Hill, thanks for $5. The most Comicsgate thing to do is leave Twitter. They lose subs. They lose power. I don't know. I don't know if that's the most Comicsgate thing to do. ZACK and I don't always agree, and we do kind of talk. We talk probably every day, and kind of run ideas by each other about stuff. But ZACK feels like Twitter's a complete and total waste of time. I see it as part of the battleground, and I have to be there. Plus, I think it's funny. I don't know. I enjoy the opportunity to to embarrass some of these people when that opportunity arises. It's fun. And also, I need to stay in communication with you guys. I need to let you guys have links to my chats. I need to let you guys know what's up. And, and I invite everybody at the end of my videos, Zach. That's the problem. I have a little Running Man Cyberfrog that gives everybody my Twitter address. So I'd have to go back and edit all my videos. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That would be hell. That's what hell is editing videos.
That's the whole reason to stay. All right, so next year is going to be a big deal. We're going to do great. We're just going to keep fighting. And I'm, personally, I felt like, Zach, as your friend, I felt like you went through a little bit of depression. I think you went through a little bit of a lull. You didn't feel like fighting anymore. You went away for like a month without you, dude.
Well, I was busy. I had to get these books out. I'm working 7 days a week.
Yeah, but you still, yeah, I know, but you still did videos, and your videos were like, here's a comic book review. But here's the thing. I talked about this with Nick. I did get down like, God, this would have sounded like hyperbole to me 6 months ago. I've never encountered this many evil people. Like, I was in a war. And, we'd catch like one bomber, a suspected bomber. There's ways to test them if they had explosive dust on their hands. They always had an excuse, by the way. But
I fell into it.
Yeah, just a couple of them. I remember their faces, and but the thing is that, and the people we fought, you could understand what their motivations were. They wanted control of the city. They wanted to impose their beliefs here or there. But their beliefs were not, I want to kill everyone everywhere and then die screaming crazy. Like, there's no actual beliefs to these people we deal with. They'll destroy anyone. They'll turn on anyone at the drop of a hat. They don't. A lot of these people barely read comics. They certainly almost never talk about them, and they're just the most damaged, evil people I've ever met. I never thought I would encounter evil people again. When you're gleefully talking about how you don't like this Amnesty International program, you freaking write Wonder Woman. When you're trying to get charity funds for a freaking suicide hotline rejected, like, you're evil. These are, and the thing is, it's not just these people. There are pros. Joe Quesada loves these people. Freaking Joe freaking Quesada thinks these are like hilarious people. They're freaking evil.
I've known Joe Quesada for so many years, dude. None of this surprises me. I know, Zach, we'll have a conversation about Joe Quesada, and what I tell you about him will absolutely curl your hair. All right. So you'll understand. I'll give you a little perspective. But yeah, dude, of course, absolutely. Of course, this is evil. These people are evil, and that's why we have to remain chipper and remain talking about this. This kind of thing that happened today. I mean, this was, I think it was a heartening thing, getting those 2 strikes taken off and seeing the demoralizing aspect of that, of just saying, hey, you failed to destroy me. Like that alone, like we didn't do anything evil. We said, you failed to destroy my friend. This is my friend. Richard C. Myers, my friend. I don't want to see him come to harm. And you failed in your attempts to harm him. And that destroyed them today. That really depressed these SJWs, these NPCs. They were very, very, very upset about that. And that's a good thing. I can only think that we are in the right when our joy comes from their failure at destroying the people that we care about and ourselves. Obviously, I think we're on the right side of things. Nick, what do you think?
Yeah. That's my expert legal analysis. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, we're going to move on. Zach, I do want to let you go because I know you have a lot to do. These people want to talk to you all the time. I kind of promised Zach that I wouldn't keep him on too long because he has a lot to do. And I want to talk about, Mr. X, okay, for a little bit with Nick. I have a theory that you shouldn't be around here. So you had nothing to do with this. What comes from here on out?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Later, buddy.
Take care. Nick.
Yeah, what's up?
All right. So listen. And by the way, thanks everyone in the chat. Before we get into this, let me read these super chats, Nick.
Sure.
I appreciate you for being here. This has been a big day. This is very, very exciting indeed. I love when these people fail. I absolutely love it. It makes me happy. They have to start all over again and come up with a new scheme, but they will. They'll come up with a new scheme. Their whole thing is to utterly destroy Comicsgate because Comicsgate just doesn't want to have to buy their product, and that is infuriating to them for some reason.
Sorry, real quick. The other thing I've noticed is that they assume that Comicsgate, that how much they think about Comicsgate is how much everybody does. Like, for example, there are people out there who assume that every video I do is related to Comicsgate. People on the anti side. Actually, it was pretty indicative. I had a guy named Null who runs a website called Kiwi Farms on my stream. He's kind of a controversial figure. I had him on Friday, and all these dummies start lighting up because I had a person where some of the anti-Comicsgate people have been doxxed on Kiwi Farms, and so they're like freaking out about this. It's like, you idiots, I didn't talk to Null about comics at all. We were talking about futurism and Bitcoin and the ethics of where life begins and ends and like cloning and all that stuff. We didn't mention comics for a second. They were all losing their minds,
dude,
just because
they must do. How are there any other topics that you have discussed on your live stream in which the people involved or interested have obsessed with you for the rest of your life? You had a couple of Comicsgate. I mean, I've been on there once or twice, 3-4 times. And then you've had Richard Meyer on. Have you ever, I mean, they'll never leave you alone. Anti-Comicsgaters will never, ever, ever leave you alone for that.
No. And the funny thing is what they don't understand. So like, I got into this simply because a couple of people asked me about specific situations and said, hey, what's the idea here? And I said, oh, there might be a claim, there might not be a claim. This is how good it is. This is how, these are where there are problems. And because of that, like that's honestly the extent. I mean, now, like I love Comicsgate because everybody's been nice and receptive to me, and align with a lot of my personal values about speech and just doing work and making things that people want. So that's great. But outside of that, I'm not a comics guy. I haven't been for a very long time, although I did buy my first comic in like 20 years the other day. So that was fun.
That's
But,
good.
yeah, it's reignited my interest, but like I didn't have any skin in the game, but man, did they immediately, just because I issued an opinion that they disagreed with, suddenly they hate me. And it's like, well, you don't even know what I think about any of this stuff, but it was immediate. I mean, it was immediate. It's very threatening. And of course, all of these people who wouldn't know a legal opinion if it punched them in the face, handcuffed them, and threw them in jail, want to tell me how wrong I am on the law. And it's like, well, we'll see, won't we? We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it seems like it's pretty cut and dry for me. I'm gonna save the super chats for a bit, guys. Thank you so much for keep them coming in. I'll read them all when I think people want to hear this next segment here. All right, first of all, I want to give you my theory about what I think Mark Zaid is doing, and let's just see what you think, because Mark Zaid, I think, seems to not want to talk about the tortious interference aspect of this. Has he brought that up? Has he remarked upon it in any way with any confidence?
Not that I've seen. From what I've seen, he focuses almost exclusively on the defamation on any public statements that he makes.
Right. And why do you think that is?
Well, I think I have a couple theories. One is that he knows the tortious interference case is very weak and it's scary. Scary in the sense of it makes the white knight look not so white, right? It tarnishes the image a little bit and says, you know what? He was trying to get some guy to not be able to sell a book, not because of what's in the book, but just because of the guy. And people aren't entirely comfortable with that outside of Twitter. And I think Zaid knows that. The other reason I think he might not bring it up, and this is purely speculative, is that, and some other people, this is not like entirely my unique theory or anything. Lots of people have mentioned this, is that Zaid might know that the tortious interference is a losing case and think, well, we're probably going to settle this out, so I'm not going to talk about it. They may think they have a case on the defamation issue. And so then what they'll do is quietly settle out the tortious interference thinking with like a non-disclosure agreement, so they can't really talk about it, and then focus on this righteous defamation case where instead of Wade punishing Zack's speech, it's Zack trying to punish Wade's speech. And then the other part of that theory is that he's publicly putting forth this virtuous Mark Wade narrative to try and build a war chest that can be used to pay settlement and costs and minimize the damage to his client.
That's correct. That's all. That second theory is all what I believe. I believe that at this point, Zaid knows, and I guess he's conveyed to Mark Wade that, look, the tortious interference case is a layup. You're going to lose that. You're going to end up paying him. If we go to court or if we settle, you're going to end up paying Zack. So what we can do is we can kind of just say, hey, we're going to make you choke on your victory here. The weaker aspect of this is defamation. Defamation cases are hard to win, from what I understand. Very hard to win. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's difficult because, well, like, was the person saying a fact or were they saying an opinion? I mean, a lot of the stuff Wade is alleged to have said could easily fall under the opinion aspect of it. I mean, and there's arguments to make some of it into fact statements versus opinion statements. There's at least one in there that is a factual statement. And that's the one about the, whatchamacallit? Oh, posting the names and phone numbers of employees of comic book stores, like the private names and phone numbers rather than just the publicly available store information.
Right.
Like that's a verifiable fact, but so and so is a racist is hard to make into a factual statement because that's just an opinion based on your perceptions of them. Now there is another statement in there that I think could fall under the defamation, and that was I think he said he was affiliated with white nationalist groups or something like that, which is obviously nonsense. And affiliation is something you can test. You know, is your boy a card carrying KKK member? Like, did he go over and join the Golden Dawn in Greece? I mean, we can test these things, and that could be that could fall into the defamatory part, and then the the other stuff can be argued to show intent, to show malice, to show motive for the lie. But even considering all that, defamation becomes very difficult, and it becomes more and more difficult with the more popular person you're dealing with. And, ZACK has quite a few subscribers. He's big in the comic industry, obviously. Even the comic book professionals know about him and his YouTube channel. So he's relatively influential. So that makes it a good argument on the public figure front. And if they successfully declare him to be a public figure, any defamation case becomes really, really difficult.
Do you think he's a public figure?
I think the internet has really changed what that means. There's a case from years and years ago. Have you ever heard of Firestone Tires?
Yes.
Now you would think like the CEO of Firestone Tires and his wife might be public figures back in the late 80s, we'll say. Right. Like you could look them up. You'll know who it is. They had a divorce that was in the news, widely publicized, went across, all sorts of news channels and stuff like that, because there's a high profile couple getting a divorce in the 80s. This is big news back then. Not as big today, but, and we're talking the woman and the man were both, interviewed. They're both in the cultural zeitgeist, and a court ruled that she wasn't a public figure, which is it's kind of a strange thing to think about, because her face, her words are being broadcast to millions of people every night, and then she's not a public figure. But nowadays, with the internet, based on the public figure doctrine, a lot of people do qualify, because at least in the realm of comics, ZACK is kind of prominent. People on both sides of the issue know his name and want to talk about him. I don't think he's a public figure, but the court may very well disagree with me just because of where we're going. And if they do, which is, I want to prep people, it's very possible that they'll start going this way. If they do, they're going to have to really reassess public figure doctrine. But traditionally, public figures, we're talking elected officials, and then massively famous people where everybody would know their name, is like dating myself, like a Tom Cruise, a Vin Diesel, if you will.
Right.
People with tens of millions of followers, a Taylor Swift. These are going to be public figures for sure. How far down they'll go is kind of up to the individual courts. And I don't want to make too many statements on it, because I just don't know how they're going to deal with it. It's the case law on it is really weird, because most of it was developed long before anything like Twitter could have existed, or YouTube for that matter.
Yeah. So that's kind of changed things, and I think he might be considered a public figure at this point, just because he's been on TV and all, so on and so forth. But I kind of think that the strategy is just to get the defamation. Hand ZACK an L for the defamation, or in a perceived way, even if it's dismissed or something like that. Welcome, Cecil. How are you? Hello. All right. So if they dismiss it, think about what a victory that is for SJWs.
Yeah, and if they
that's what I think they're looking at right now. They're looking to be able to say, you tried to sue us for defamation for calling you a Nazi, and you lost. It means you're a Nazi.
Right.
So I think that's the victory they're trying to eke out here out of this situation, and just to further, slime his name and write it into the record that he called Mags a man in a wig, like that's a big crime, and all of these things, and the Kwanzaa voice. I had Andrew Farago, who we were just mentioning. One of the things that he said to me was, well, good luck when the ZACK has to face a judge and all that stuff is being read to him. I'm like, a Texas judge is not an SJW who's going to be horrified by the Kwanzaa voice.
A Texas former Marine Bush appointee judge. I mean,
right.
Good Lord.
Oh my God. You mean you misgendered Mags Visaggio? Oh, good Lord. Throw him in jail. It's not going to happen, but I do think that that's what their strategy is right now. And the other thing I wanted to ask you is this, and this is another reason why Zach's not in here right now, regarding the people who launched an attack on Diversity&Comics YouTube channel over the weekend. One of them is actually an employee of Mark Waid.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? And I don't know. Hold on. Let me think about that. Okay, never mind.
All right.
I don't want to say what I'll tell you what I was going to say in private later, and then I don't want to say that without some permission.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll say that person's filing or that person's claim is a little extra weird, and if you've seen the claim, you may know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it looks like he might have been hired by Mark Waid, and if that's the case, these people just don't. Hold on, I'm sending it to you right now.
Oh, good. On Twitter.
On Twitter.
Okay. Yeah, I find it peculiar
that they're one-step thinkers. It's like if let's say there's this wonderful world where nothing happened, okay, and it's all just merry coincidence that Waid hires this guy and then he files a false DMCA against ZACK. Okay, that happens. Even if that's the case, you got to stop yourself and say, I just got hired by a guy who's in litigation against this other guy. I better be darn sure that I'm doing the right thing, because otherwise it's going to sure look like my boss hired me because I'm going to file a DMCA strike and this is some sort of kickback. And that might just make some of our conversations discoverable. It might make this look a little bad.
Astonishing. Astonishing. That is unbelievable. That is unbelievable, counselor, to think about. It is quite possible that, even if it's not a stretch of the imagination to think that somebody who is untalented, like Kwanzaa, was actually employed by Mark Waid, because Kwanzaa is an arch enemy of your boy ZACK. And Kwanzaa is now being used as a tool to strike out against Diversity&Comics YouTube channel and in other places. Okay, interesting. I'm reading what you're writing me on Twitter. And boy, that is peculiar. It really, let me borrow from Medicare. It really gets the noggin jogging. It really activates my almonds.
It's a very strategically stupid move, even if it was entirely innocent and coincidental.
Mark Waid is the supervillain, and this guy's his henchman.
Interesting.
Yeah. It kind of looks that way.
Cecil, it's good to have you here, my friend. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. So, we had a big day today. Are you aware of everything that went on?
I'm aware of everything everywhere, always.
I knew that you were. Yeah, I'm excited about this, Cecil. I'm excited about the fact that Diversity&Comics YouTube channel is no longer in jeopardy. And that we have figured out, we're figuring out a few things behind the scenes here, and trying to work things out, because this lawsuit is bigger, I think. Nick, I think this lawsuit is bigger than, let me just say this. I think it's bigger than Dick Masterson.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. Love Dick. Maddox's lawsuit against him, very stupid. And if you want to clip that out, I mean, go ahead, I guess. But no, the lawsuit against him was very stupid. But it's not a part of the culture war. It was just one idiot's battle. And there's a difference there. I think the repercussions of this suit will send a message either way. If your boy ZACK loses, always a possibility in court, that will send a message too. And if he does, batten down the hatches.
It's going to be crazy, dude.
Oh. Yeah. But the Maddox suit was big and important because it was so stupid, and some real people had their lives really, really messed with. Dick, of course, had to go through quite a bit, but Asterios, his buddy, lost his job, had to go tens of thousands of dollars in debt, all because this one guy got mad about being called a cuck on the internet. Hey, Maddox, you're a cuck, just so you know. But yeah, this one's a different weight. That one was a joke with repercussions. This one carries far bigger implications, I think, in the general culture war. So it's an important one.
All right, so I'm going to start reading super chats, and if you guys have super chats that you want read out, send them now because I'm going through them.
And I hate to do this, but I have to buzz out because I got to get kids in bed.
Go get kids in bed. Good night to your kids. Thanks so much for joining, Nick, and I appreciate your advice.
Yeah, anytime. And Cecil, I'm going to hit you up for a drunk stream very soon.
Okay.
Ooh,
I can do that.
Fun.
Yeah, let's just find all the whiskey.
Drake Taylor, yes, I do watch the chat. All right, thanks, Nick. Have a great night.
Thanks, buddy. You guys,
Bye-bye.
see you guys later.
All right, Cecil, I'm glad you're here with me. And other comic skaters who want to come in, the link is in our private DM room, so feel free. Moo Butt says, is Apple Crisp considered pie? I think we covered that. Gateway into Comics says, huge win today. We all stand with ZACK. James Dean, creator of Conflict, says Joe Q is bragging about sales. Meanwhile, Marvel and DC's combined market shares were at their lowest since August of 2017 with an extra week. Yikes.
Yeah, their sales went up because of all the number ones and the milestones. Mm-hmm. But Tug might have said this today. 4 million less copies were sold last year.
Wow.
Even though they made more money. If I'm wrong on that number, I'm actually can't even blame it on the booze. I'm sober, but I think he said 4 million.
Okay, well,
but they still made more money because they upped the price. There's like $4.99 a book now, and there's been so many milestones that people bought multiple issues of 600, 700, the Superman 1000.
Right. Yeah, I mean that, listen, it's not hard to adjust the content that you're putting out. I mean, the way that you're putting out books to keep your market share the same, to keep your sales up. You can do a lot of things. I mean, I watched DC change everything with Rebirth in order to kind of artificially F with the numbers so they keep their numbers up and get them up in the air. One of those things was to just cancel all of the books that sold underneath 10,000 at that moment, relaunch everything with a brand new number one, and then double down on the books that sold over 50,000 and put them out twice monthly. Okay, so you do that, and guess what happens? You inflate your sales, and this is all fine. This is good good strategy, but yeah, hold on. I have to type something to ZACK. He's asking me some.
Hey, fellas.
Okay, I just blew his mind with one word. All right. By the way, Jorge Versetti, $2. Has Lord Cecil's nose recovered from his assault?
Yes, but it's still sore, but it stopped bleeding.
Yeah.
You don't know what he's talking about.
No, I don't. What did happen?
It was my last video. It's 8 minutes. I understand you don't have the time to watch one.
No, go tell me. Tell the story.
Oh, it's in my last video.
Well,
it happened on video.
Well, okay.
I was beating the hockey, a field hockey stick by my nieces, and they busted my nose.
Oh, okay. Does it have a bandage on it?
Spoiler alert. No, there's no bandage. I'm fine. It's a couple days ago.
All right, I'm almost finished.
Take time out of your busy day. Watch the video. Watch the video.
That's a good way to. That's a good way to kind of to sell a video is just to do that. Okay, so let me. All right, Trenchard 1375, big smiley face. James Dean Creative Conflict, only 3 books cracked 100,000 and barely. Yay. Gateway into Comics says, hey everyone, if you write comics or want to write comics, watch my stuff. I have a wealth of helpful tools on writing. You are the gateway into comics. Watch me burn bad comics too. Tori D. Sart says, Mags is just a ridiculously hairy, talentless, friendless person, somewhat like a shaven Sasquatch. Oh, that's, I don't know. That's a critique. Great loner. What? That's going to get clipped out.
I've been called worse. Don't worry, Max.
Yeah, well, so am I. I mean, but let me ridiculously hairy. Well, I mean, talentless. Yeah, friendless. I have Cecil and ZACK. Person somewhat like a shaven Sasquatch. Yeah, that applies to a lot of people, including me. Great Loner says, ZACK, you can find their books in the trash. Shannon McDaniel says, Nick is in the chat. He might want to come in. Yeah, I saw that, Shannon, and I did send the link. I thought that was a good idea. Midnight TV, all of my favorites at once. Mike Jenkins says, Kwanzaa equals the punching bag of comics. Panboy Lando Soy Child Dong Lover says, Caesar, our wives need you. We need you. Rainbow Brute Challenge. That's the celibacy challenge. Concerned Westerner says, EVS, Zach, and Jeremy in the same chat. Day is made. Cormoran says, I can't stress enough just how important this case is. Without this as a repercussion, they'll never stop their behavior. Thank you so much, Mr. Meyer. Tori DS Art, maybe, says, we are the Omnipede. Now, Cecil, I said that before, Renfam has said that Comicsgate was on its last legs.
And you said we were a millipede.
Yeah, we're a millipede. We'll never run out of last legs. We'll live forever because I don't know. We're just like that. I think we have a lot of stamina.
Plus, there's infinite phases, right, Ethan?
That is correct. Hey, Ben.
Hey guys, how you doing? I listened to the live chats.
It's great to have you on. Yeah, I haven't had you on here in a while. Sorry, like if anybody pops in, I don't have my screen on. I'm looking at super chat. So
Yeah, I want to let them go.
Cool. All right, cool. All right, let me read more of these. Crazy Maynard 2003 says, Zach Gordon versus Mags the Merciless. Comic Girl Ava says, congrats, Zach. I'm glad you put these 2 horrible SJW NPCs in their place. Justice is served, and today was a victory. A lot of people have a conspiracy theory that Comic Girl Ava is my daughter from the future, like grown up, because my daughter is a blonde. Her name is Ava. Ava kind of, we had her on the chat. She does look a little bit like my sister Abby. So it's possible.
It's not Mike Zero.
Ava, do you know Mike Zero? That would blow my mind.
Technically, it's absolutely possible.
Yeah. But she could be. So Ava, if you are my daughter, I'm proud of you. You turned out okay, and right on.
Oh, ask her what the first heart attack is.
Oh, she would know, right?
Yeah, look into that.
I'm not going to have a heart attack. I'm going to die in a helicopter crash.
My first heart attack. I don't care about
you. She wouldn't know that. How would she know? If she's from the future, wait a second. Let me see. And it's a timeline situation here. So I'm not sure. Ava, do you know anything about Cecil having a heart attack in the future?
When is it? Not just a heart attack. I want to know when I have my first
heart attack.
Yeah, my first one.
Yeah.
I think you want to know just so you can avoid it, or so you can plan to fall the right way.
No, you know what? I want to fall the right way. I don't want to shit my pants. If I know I'm going to have a heart attack that day, I will.
Right.
Well, Ava says you've got 20 minutes, Cecil. So make your plans. Make your peace with God and your friends and family.
Paramedics are getting a pant load because I'm not ready to.
All right, Ava, do you want to come in here? I'll send you the link. We're teasing you enough. You might as well come on. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Now I'm like, I did miss live chatting. I really did. I stopped for a minute to just make sure I was doing videos every day, in order to, get my sub count up. But I can't help it. I still do have to do these. Hold on, Comic Girl Ava. Still do have to do these live chats. Is that what it is? Where is your? Oh, there it is. Okay. And as soon as I do one single live chat, it just destroys my channel. I wake up and I look at my. I look at my social blade, and it's just like a zigzag of people dropping off and joining in, and I'm just like, damn it. But I can't help it. I really do. I'm having a good time tonight.
Well,
I haven't
you
done one of
said
these.
had a pretty good suggestion. If you just take a 10-minute clip and then in that one you leave a link to an unlisted.
That
You
was a
understand?
good idea.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, and I'll probably do that. I'll probably just clip out the whole ZACK thing and put that up or something.
Right.
But yeah.
And then put this video unlisted and then just have a link in the description if anybody wants to watch the whole thing.
I wanted to make sure I popped in. If Zach, if you're listening, go Zach.
Everyone's happy with Zach.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Good work. He's the tip of the spear, man. You know, with a lot of these lawsuits that need to happen, like Jeremy said. I had some videos taken down recently because they were using our trademark, things like that. One that Ren had up actually had to get taken down. So yeah, I'm glad this stuff's. I think it's going to make everything better in the long run. Hopefully next year will be much calmer.
Yeah. Well, I think next year is going to be great. I mean, it's going to be war, but we're going to be in a much better position.
Yeah.
I can't wait until Cyberfrog is out and in my hands. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to print up all different versions of it too. I'm going to have there's going to be Cyberfrog material galore, and I'm going to do a black and white version of it. I've got so much money to spend on Cyberfrog.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to kick its ass. And then next year is just all caps comics, fearsome Cyberfrog, Rainbow Brute. We're going to own next year. We're going to own it, dude.
Today was a big day for me.
Why?
We shut down Ravage, the store. We're ready to getting ready to go to print. You know, finalizing that file, getting our number count, and boom!
Yes,
I will almost have my first number one in my hand, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. Can't wait. I mean, guys, this is just really, really exciting stuff. And we just have to stay positive and stay focused and stuff. But we also do have to beat these people back a little bit.
Yeah.
Crazy Maynard 2003 says, okay, so I got that one. Comic Girl Ava got that one. Mike Jenkins says, Zach, give us a little Kwanzaa voice. I didn't want to ask him to do that. I saw that come up and I went, it's kind of a serious conversation, so I didn't ask him to do that. But I'm sure I did ask him on your behalf to make sure he doesn't give it up. So I hope that's money well spent for you. Billy says, rules for radicals number 4, make your enemies live by their own rules. A lot of people say that to me. They're like, those are SJW tactics that you're using. I'm like, yeah, they are. I agree. And, the whole thing is, if they're going to do this to me, I'm going to see how they like it when I do it to them. And, I'm all for that. I don't mind using SJW's tactics against them. I don't mind doing it. As long as it's within reason. I'm not a psychopath. But, yeah, if it's a matter of, I can't even think of anything right now. I'm sure I have done something like that, though. With that in mind. Mike Jenkins says, Kwanzaa puppet, you actually topped the Kwanzaa voice. Yeah, I want to know what that puppet is, but I'm going to let him reveal that surprise.
The Jackie puppet from
Hello.
Hi, Ava.
Hey, guys.
Ava from the future.
Ava from the future.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. So Kwanzaa puppet, Ava. What do you think? It seems like a pretty good idea. It seems like it's going to be funny and make for good videos. The fact that Zach only shows his hand in his videos usually and his knee makes a puppet a rather genius idea.
Oh, absolutely. I think it is perfect. Who doesn't love a puppet, man?
Yeah, everyone hates Kwanzaa, but they love puppets. So
that's right. It works out perfect.
Yeah,
I think he has so much material to work with, Zach. There's so much there, man.
Now,
Yeah.
what's the possibility of him selling Kwanzaa puppets and actually outselling Kwanzaa's book with the puppets?
Oh, shit.
That would be great.
Just sell the puppets.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious, dude. Wouldn't it even be cool if he made his own little stupid saying in there too? So every time it opened the mouth on the puppet, it would be in his own Kwanzaa voice.
All right, the chat is talking about Ava right now. Let's see. Dante and Ravina says Ava sounds great.
Oh, thank
and
you,
people
guys.
are saying save your dad. So I guess there's, what do you want me to do? Stop eating pies? I mean,
Oh no, definitely not that. We can't stop that.
yeah. Noir24 says Ava sounds much more comfortable in the chat compared to the first time she was on the channel. Yeah, it takes a minute. I mean, you're not nervous now, are you?
I'm
Now you
better.
are.
Also, when you first go on, it's I'm just meeting you guys in a way, you know, with just the voices. And there's also a lot of the people on there at once. And you guys are all super powerful voices. And I'm trying to like come in and like, I don't know what to say.
I never know what to say.
Well, me neither, but somehow we managed to put on a pretty entertaining show. So
You guys do
know,
well.
yeah.
Never stopped me before.
He always knows what to say. Cecil is fantastic on anyone's show. Fantastic, Cecil. And Cecil became a star. I'm sure Ava will too.
Cecil, I heard about your hockey incident. Man, you must have been playing rough with the hockey stick, huh?
Yeah, well, check it out. The video is on Cecil Says. I don't want to give it all away. It's really hard stopping action.
Well, I'm excited. Everybody go to Cecil's channel. It's Cecil Says and subscribe if you haven't yet. Cecil thought he'd be at probably like 3 million subscribers by now.
I thought 5 really.
5 million. Yeah, he's been a little bit troubled by how slow his growth has been relative to his own expectations.
Right.
That's all right, man. Slow but steady, right?
Well, I'll tell you, Cecil, I've been traveling lately. That's why, I haven't been around. I've been to Charleston, been to Atlanta. Everybody responds to the Cecil shirts. They love anything Cecil. Yes, it's always a talker at going out for a happy hour, man. They love it.
I'm an underground sensation.
You are. I'm spreading the word. I'm a prophet. I'm going forward before you.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Ben.
No problem.
What are some of the things that these shirts are saying?
Well, they say dick on them.
The best one, I'll be honest, the best response is the one of Cecil with as Tony Stark with the bottle.
Oh
yeah.
Cover.
Yeah, that was the best. That was the best response I get. Is that one?
People are saying shut up and let Ava talk, and also people want to know what Ava does. So, Ava, as far as I know, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you have a channel called Comic Book Girl. No, Comic Book Ava.
Comic Girl Ava.
Okay, and you are a critic.
I believe so, at least to the best that I can be. But I guess I'm not perfect for anything, but I've just put my little view on it. Yeah.
Okay, that's what they want to know. They want to know if you're an artist, a writer, or a critic, because usually the people who get on the show are, artists, writers, or critics.
Oh, sorry. So I just got like a little message. I was like, what does that sound? Yeah, no, I mean, the only kind of artist I am is for my own kind of doodles. I'm just more critic. But read something and then say my own little piece on it and hope people like it, or if they don't like it, I mean, feel free to say that too.
Okay, Gojirify says she's a goddess and he's in love with you. Lancer says I didn't read your super chat. I will. I'm going to get to it. Don't you worry. I'm going to get to super chats. Okay, no, Eva, it's Ava. Ava, she doesn't have a comic. She's a critic. She has a YouTube channel. So think of Ava as Yellow Flash, but she's a woman. Think of Ava as, again, Diversity&Comics before he became a comic book writer. So yeah, people who get on this show are generally people who criticize comic books or make comic books. And Ava is a comic book YouTube critic. So go join her channel. She caught my attention because she ate a copy of X-23. And I've never seen anything like that before. And I was curious to see if she was real. And turns out she is real, and hooray. So she's on the channel.
And hooray.
That was awesome. I need to start doing that more.
No, Ben, I don't think you do. I think less than you already do. Yeah, less.
Consuming comics? I don't know. I think I need to up my game, man.
Eat fewer comics. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Yellow Flash without the potty mouth. I don't know, Jason. I don't know if she curses a lot. Honestly, she might. Doesn't seem like that type of girl, though. Not my Ava. Not the Ava that I raised.
Well, the future Ava, it might disappoint in that aspect, man.
All right, let me read some of these here. All right, so Twitter is an eternally burning trash fire homage to Satan. Change my mind, says Handlebar Fox. I can't. Kita, Kita, says, remind DNC to reactivate his Twitter temporarily so a troll doesn't get the name. 30-day deactivated equals free game name. Yeah, I heard about
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I think he might be concerned about that, but he doesn't sound like he's ever coming back to Twitter. I told him today, I said, just reactivate your account and don't use it, but just be there.
Yeah.
And he said no. So, what am I going to do? Matthew Crime says, so if ZACK is right, the teeth of a copyright strike are completely removed. Fight everyone and put the onus on them to make the next move otherwise. I think that's right. Panboy Lando Soy Child Dong Lover says, quartering is Rainbow Brute celibacy challenge material. # war campaign. No, I don't think he is. I think he's got a wife, and I think he's obligated to take care of her in that way. So I don't think he is. I don't think he is.
And also, he doesn't seem to be completely insane.
That's the other thing too. Yeah, the other thing. I don't know how many people I have to listen to talk about. For a fact that Ethan uses the war campaign as his, what's the phrase, war dogs or attack dogs?
Yeah, they're like your Kwanzaa. You're like, Mark Wade is his henchman, and you have the war campaign.
The war campaign is to me what Kwanzaa is to Mark Wade, I guess. But that's just not true. Those guys pretend. I know they had that. There was that incident with Roe where Roe Kabir got caught using a tweet that said, we are going to decapitate this guy. Well, does Caesar command it? Yes, Caesar commands it. So apparently I told him to go. They were making it up. I didn't do that. And I don't, it's ridiculous. But I'm sure that launched a lot of imaginations, and that's good. And we're comic book creators. We should be imaginative. Lancer737 says, I heard George Lucas has the most shares in Disney and in effect owns Disney. Is that true, Uncle E? Could he fix Disney if he cares to? I think, no, I don't know if he has the most shares. But, when Disney bought Star Wars, they paid him $4 billion. 500 or 50, or let me say this again, $4.05 billion. And the way I understand it is the $50 million was in stocks and shares. Okay. But the 4 million was in cash, I guess, theoretically. And I think that's, that's the way it is. Is that the most that anyone owns? I doubt it. I doubt it. Yeah. It doesn't seem like it. Somebody just said, no, he has 2 billion in shares.
Oh,
interesting. Well, that maybe that makes him. Maybe he does own Disney. Could he fix Disney if he cares to?
Bigger than Google, that guy.
Yeah, just Star Wars. I think he could just fix Star Wars. I don't think he could fix anything else. He's not. Honestly, George Lucas doesn't have a great track record outside of Star Wars and a couple of Indiana Jones movies. So I don't know. That's my opinion anyway.
Graffiti was good.
Oh, yeah. He should do a sequel to that. That'd be great. Oh, he did. He did do a sequel to that. What am I talking about? There is a Graffiti too. Paul Ulechi says ZACK should publish the hot dog story from when he still lived in New York. # better than Marvel. Darth Bobcat says, does Nick's comic star an alcoholic lawyer? That's not a bad idea. Earth Citizen 9 says, ZACK, will we ever be able to meet you at a con or a gathering with EVS perhaps? Will it be possible without social justice warrior interference? We owe you many beers. This is all something that we're working towards. I believe in my heart the Comicsgate creators and our own individual publishing outlets here are going to become pretty successful. I mean, you guys are going to weed out which is going to stay, which is going to succeed, and which might not. That's entirely up to the fans. But should we get to a point where we are successful like that, we'll have our own conventions, guys.
Yep.
Honestly, like, it gets kind of scary for the fact that I feel like a lot of people have just been bullied out of cons. And, I feel like sometimes you kind of have to go on your own route and do your own kind of con.
Yeah, I think that's what we would do in any case. And that way, our convention would be made up entirely of Comicsgate personalities. You'd be able to meet me. You'd be able to meet ZACK, Cecil, maybe. We're going to see if Cecil wants to show us. He might just wear a mask.
I'll wear my costume.
Yeah.
If we call it Cecil Fest, that would be good too.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. You could meet Critias, who's in the chat right now. How you doing, Critias?
Hey, man.
Hey, man.
Yeah, like I think that would be the best way to do it. And so, only
has my vote.
What's that?
Cecil Fest has my vote.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. I think that's a good idea, actually. People would come out to meet Cecil. So yeah. Jesse N says, I don't think Matt Fantastic will have grandkids. I don't know. Yeah, if that's because he's gay or if he isn't gay, I don't know. Ian House says, you're the only reason I even use Twitter. Don't go. Stephen Hill says the most CG thing to do is leave Twitter. They lose subs, they lose power. Zebulon Pike says, Meyer, thank you for everything, sir. Never stop. Gateway into Comics says, very sincerely, if you are writing comics or wanting to, I promise you'll get some great stuff from my videos. Give them a look. Every day I present more of my method. You are the gateway into comics. So go subscribe to Gateway into Comics. Again, he uses a flamethrower to light Jamal Igle comics on fire. And I'm sorry, Jamal. I think that's funny. I know you don't like when I say that. I do think it's funny. The only thing that would be funny would be some kind of mortar round fired at one of your comic books.
But how does one person get a flamethrower?
I don't know.
Probably made it.
Elon Musk was selling them.
I thought so, but weren't they like super fucking expensive?
Yeah.
They're like insanely expensive.
Yeah.
They can't be cheap, but you know, I'm sure you can make one. I mean, Gateway into Comics, he probably made it. It doesn't seem like it would be too hard to make if you have that kind of a background, you know. So good stuff.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
Yeah, people are saying you can buy them, $400.
Nice.
That's a bargain.
Yeah, actually, doesn't sound as bad of a price as I figured they'd be.
A can of WD-40 and a lighter will work just as
well. That's our
yeah. All right, so let's keep going here. So hey Zach, missed you, says the Theorist Fox. Your latest video was amazing, passionate, and from the heart. Kind of made earlier vids seemed self-censored. Do you think you were self-censoring? That's a question. I'm sorry, he's not here to answer.
His last video was probably his best video ever that he ever did.
I agree. I think so too.
It seemed like a lecture. It seemed like he was like, okay, I'm going to tell you a speech. Like you go to one of his classes, and that was a lecture he was giving. That's what it felt like to me. It was a show, and that accounts for its length and stuff. But yeah, it was compelling stuff. Good stuff. DCV Titan says, I agree, Ethan. These people suffering is almost as delicious as pie. It is. There's Fox says, sorry, I meant the SJW's Get Book Canceled video. Yeah, we got it. Ascension Comics says there needs to be a non-disclosure. There needs to be no non-disclosure. Wade needs to be fucking humiliated to the full letter of the law. I say pegging is a fitting punishment, but Wade would love it. I agree. And by the way, hello, Weaponized Nerve Rage.
I just come in and all I hear is you talking about Mark Wade and butt sex.
Yeah, well, you know, at any random moment, to be honest with you, Wep, you know.
Look,
didn't you know that's the only reason for this live stream? Didn't you know that?
Look, man, whatever you get up to when you're doing your deed in the shower, I mean, that's between you and yourself. The audience don't need to know nothing about that.
Oh, my deed in the shower.
That's his thing, man. That's his voyeurism for him.
Washing my, I don't even know what pegging is. You know,
that is when a woman uses a strap-on on a man.
What's a strap-on?
You know what that is. Don't pretend to be all clear and honest now. You have been on the internet long enough.
You should see my face right now. I really don't know what you're talking about.
I don't believe you. I don't.
Deadpool had a scene in there where his the girlfriend, I guess.
Yeah, the women's appreciation in Deadpool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, it's I gather it's sex. I gather it's something degrading and sexual. So that's funny then. Ian House says Cecil, how's the nose? He answered that. Hell says if Wade is deemed to be a public figure, does that eliminate any defenses he could potentially use? Nick's not here, but I'll ask him next time. El Torpedo says, use Twitter like Alex Ross does, EVS. Only showcase your art. Don't let them drag you into the muck. They love it when you engage with them. Yeah, I like it too, though, and that's the problem. Jorge Verchetti says, has Lord Cecil's nose recovered from his assault?
Yes.
Yes. Big Red says, when will you accept ideas for Rainbow Brute? Never. What do you mean? It's me and Cecil. At least Cecil has plenty of ice for his nose, says Eloquent Sarcasm. Those children are monsters. Well, C1 says Cecil's niece stood up for good against evil using a hockey stick repeatedly. Cecil, this sounds bleak. I gotta watch this video.
It was a bloody video.
What is the video called?
It's called Comic Book Beatdown. It was a contest between the Squirrel Girl versus I had a 1968 Fantastic Four number 73. And then one goes in the shredder, the loser.
Well, it sounds amazing. I will watch it. So Jeff Myers, thanks for $10. Plus our boy Zach for having the fortitude and funds to be the spearhead in this fight. Sometimes you have to bloody a nose or two to make the rest stand up and notice there are consequences. Mark C, thanks for $10. Uncle Ethan, it appears after last night that some comic skaters like Ash, who complained about you gatekeeping, want to settle the issue by gatekeeping you and other creators because you can draw. Oh yeah, that's one way of looking at it. I had a discussion last night, guys, with a fellow named Ash. He was a nice guy. It was basically, I think he kind of aligned with the not John Delarose per se, but that's Tim Lim, like the Tim Lim argument on Comicsgate. So it was another chance to argue against the Tim Lim kind of standpoint, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good discussion.
I think that was a good stream. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Ava. Yeah, it just seemed like I want to talk more about this. I know people kind of go, "Hey, let's talk about it." Let's talk about it. We shouldn't, we should at least kind of understand each other rather than just letting disagreements fester. I think it's better to talk it through. Yeah,
that's always the best way to go. It'd be good if more people could come on and just talk it out, hug it out. I know it'd be all over in a afternoon if we were all together in person. Just going and having a dinner or something.
Not for me. Like some of these people. I do have a 3 strikes policy when it comes to being betrayed by people who say they're my friends. Yeah. It's like first strike, what are you doing? Okay. Second strike is like, hey. And the third strike is get the F out of here. Like, you are a bad person. Hit the road. So that's, a lot of those people have had 3 strikes with me.
Gotcha. I'm not hugging it out with Timmy and Nurkish either.
No. Come on now.
It was a bad situation all around.
Yeah.
That's no problem. I mean, they can do what they want to do, but they're not. We can't be friends.
Hug them.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
But there's lots of people I'm talking about. That's come and go, and some stuff's more serious than others, right?
Yeah.
I would peg them, but I would not hug them.
Yeah, I'd peg them. Okay, I got it. Big Red says, Ethan, is it wrong to say future Ava seems bangable? Well, I don't know. You'd have to ask her if it's wrong to say. I would say probably it is wrong. She's married. D Loves All Things says, EVS, please check out Hero on Indiegogo. John, I know I just bummed everyone out. Johnny Dollar says, we need puppets of everyone, especially Cecil. James Dean, creator of Conflict, says Cyber Monday deal. Every order of Conflict clause out made during the stream is doubled. Go. I got a $50 message that was retracted, so that must have been a good one. And then if you block people on Twitter, says Angela Richter, how do you keep their subs in your count? Or do you keep their subs in your count? Block people on Twitter? Yeah, because I don't know how to block them.
I think it auto unfollows. Yes, it does. It does actually. It does auto unfollow.
On YouTube?
Not on
YouTube.
No.
Oh, on Twitter.
On Twitter, yeah. It auto unfollows you.
Yeah, she used the word subs. Twitter, they're followers, and YouTube, they're subs. I think so, because I'll watch them kind of drop off of my sub count. I'm more apt to block people these days.
I love it. It is my favorite. You know what I say? 2 words: Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
Imagine them drifting into space. They're gone. Block buttons, perfect.
Yeah, there's some people who it's just like, okay, well, here's the thing. It's not about interacting with them. It's about people who just want to snoop around your Twitter. It's like, I'll block you. It's like that. Like, that's more of a reason to block someone just than they're being a pain in the ass. Like, this person is somebody who probably has 600 sock puppet accounts, and that's one thing. But I just don't want them having access to me, so.
That's right, Dad. I block people if they're just trying to troll.
That's correct, Ava. Good girl. Ruben says, is it me or Ava? By the way, you guys are spelling it Eva, like Eva Braun, Hitler's wife. It's Ava, like Ava Gardner, Frank Sinatra's wife. Ava.
Blue eyes.
Yeah. Ruben says, is it me or Ava sounds like Jamie Presley in Joe Dirt?
Dude, Joe Dirt, I love that movie.
A little Southern accent.
Number 2 is tragically underrated.
Yeah.
Is it number 2?
Yeah, there's number 2.
I didn't know that.
It's made for Netflix,
really right? Something like Netflix. I can't remember which one it was. Crackle, I want to say is what it was on.
Headrock says, "Oh my god, if you start calling him Dad every time, this is going to get creepy real fast." Yeah,
I did it because someone told me, like, oh, you should call him Daddy. I'm like, I'll do it.
yeah. Don't call me Daddy. That's Andrea will be like, all right, who's the girl calling you Daddy? That's not going to work out.
Dad. I said Dad instead because I don't want to go that level.
You can call me EVS or Ethan, and that's fine.
Yeah, only I can call him Daddy, right, Daddy?
No.
That's right. Yeah, it's all you, man. It's all you.
Oh, yikes. Fifth Dimension says, Ethan, I love your art videos. They really make me want to become better at creating. Yeah, I got to do another art video. I'm sitting here doing Cyberfrog pages, but I feel like the pages I'm doing are kind of like boring. I don't know. Like, you know, the pages that kind of connect to the action pages, the storytelling pages. I don't know if I'm going to film those, but I do need to come up with more content for the new channel, All Caps Comics, which is doing pretty good. I've almost got 10,000 subscribers.
Wow.
I think I haven't looked at it in a couple of days, but yeah, that's doing really well. So I do want to come out with more content. No, somebody just came up with the name Adolf Sinatra, Johnny Dollar.
Oh God, no! This is what you did this, right? You brought up Hitler's wife. And
yeah. Well, I just wanted to make it clear. People are. It's not EVA, it's AVA, and that's that's a difference. Other people are saying, "I'm a girl, bring me on your show." And they call me Daddy. Yeah, Cecil, I'm not going to be able to live stream for very much longer when people are calling me when women are calling me Daddy. That's not going to work out very well for my my marriage and my YouTube show.
Well, everybody just call Cecil Daddy instead. He'll get off on it.
That's fine.
Oh yeah, Cecil.
God damn, guys.
Great.
Because you're already Uncle Ethan, so Uncle Ethan and Papa Cecil.
Yeah. Prick 13 says, "Can we get music tonight? Hail Caesar." Well, I'm writing a new song. I'm working on that. I sang it to Andrea tonight or this afternoon, and she's like, "Did you really mean to?" Yeah, there's a lyric in there that goes, "She smells like a cadaver, but I gotta have her." And she's like, "Why would you say that?" So I got a new song. From? I don't know. It's just I needed a rhyme that says "I gotta have her," and cadaver rhymes with have her, just like.
And it's funny.
Yeah, and nipple rhymes with cripple. Two words that also should not be in the same poem, just because they rhyme. But yeah, so I've got a couple new songs, and then I've got my Christmas song, which is the world's most depressing Christmas song. It's called "Ho Ho No," and it's all about not getting anything for Christmas, and it is full of despair. I might bust that out since it is the holiday season, but not tonight. Tonight, that's kind of a solo stream kind of thing.
That reminds me of the end of Pee-wee's Christmas special when he gets nothing.
Yes, but you know what? He got everything, and then he chose to get nothing, which still makes him entitled, powerful. What's the word that SJWs use?
What's it? Privileged or what?
Privileged, yeah.
Yeah.
And he had the opportunity to send that stuff back. Santa's like, if you keep all this, then the other kids in the world get nothing. It's like, so I have to give all. This is what pisses me off about that, Cecil.
Up something.
Yeah, it's like, Santa? What do you mean? Like, so I have to give you everything back, or do I get a reasonable portion of toys? You know what I mean? Like, so I get zero. So I have a choice of getting either everything or nothing. Like, there isn't just, hey, here's a reasonable. Here's your share of toys.
I think Pee-wee was trying to position himself to be sort of like a Jesus character where he gives everything for his fans and for the children.
Yeah, well, it didn't work.
It doesn't work if he keeps like a Tycho set or something.
Yeah. But it just, to me as a kid, it just seemed like an unreasonable bargain. For Weaponized Nerd Rage, have you seen the Pee-wee Herman's Christmas special?
I have not. No.
Okay, well, it's very, very gay. Let me just explain that to you first. It is every guest star in it is gay, like Katie Lang, Little Richard. I'm sure he's doing it on purpose.
No, Oprah was in there, and so was
Oprah's gay.
Yeah, there's a thing about that.
Annette Punicello was in there.
No, that's right. She's not though. God bless Annette, Frankie and Annette. But they only did it as I asked Pee-wee Herman this face to face. They did it as a return favor because he was in their movie Back to the Beach. Anyway, that I said, Pee-wee, how come Frankie and Annette? He said, well, I was in Back to the Beach, so they said they'd be on my Christmas special. I was like, that's cool.
What year was this?
88.
Wow.
Dinah Shore was also there.
Yeah, I don't know about Dinah Shore, but in any case, she would be a gay icon, I would think. If you watch the special, you'll see what I mean. I mean, it really is. It's very, very gay, and it's inclusive and LGBT, and it's full of representation. Let's just put it that way. But Pee-wee asks for everything in the world. He has Conky making a list for him, and he's asking for like a yo-yo. He's asking for stuff that there's no way he's going to be able to use in the space of a year.
Oh, Pee-wee.
I mean, why would you ask for? If you think about what a year is 365 days. You don't need. You're not going to play with all of those toys. Like, I still have Star Wars Lego sets that I don't know if I'll even open in this decade. I just don't have time. I don't have time. So that annoys me. But also, so he makes this list, sends it off to Santa. Santa shows up with everything on his list and then says, yeah, it's all here. So Pee-wee goes, well, then you can have cookies. And he says, but there's one little problem. If I give you all of the toys that you asked for, nobody else in the world will get any toys. And Pee-wee goes, well, which ones do you want then? And he goes, all of them. It's bullshit. It's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
Couldn't he pick his favorite one, one, man?
I'm just thinking, why couldn't Santa just duplicate the other toys?
Oh wait, Grace Jones was on that too.
Yeah.
Now I got to go
Grace
back.
Jones, right? Yeah. Who else was on it? Let's think of more.
Zsa Zsa Gabor. Who else?
She had her legs sawed off.
What?
In a Christmas special?
No, not in the Christmas special. I only know that because I saw a really horrible news. She got really old. I don't know what the disease was. That it wasn't like diabetes or anything. But she had her legs sawed off, and recently, within the past 5 years, because there was I was sitting there in line buying my groceries, and there's a horrible Weekly World News type of newspaper up there, and the headline was Sawjaw, and I went, oh my god.
Oh, that's messed up.
I mean, these people get paid to come up with that stuff,
I thought you were talking about the Christmas special still. So it's okay, you can't have everything, so you give the gift of legs, right? Some people can't walk, so hey.
Yeah. But anyway, it was deeply inappropriate. It was a terrifying, awful news headline. And I said, people really don't have taste. It's I didn't know Rich Johnson, had left. He would have come up with that. Rich Johnson would have.
Did you buy the magazine though?
Yeah, I did. But it was 5 years ago, so I don't have it anymore. Of course I bought it. It's amazing. So anyway, I'm
looking it up. It's Charo. Annette
Charo, yeah.
Charo, yeah. Coochie girl. Annette. Whoopi Goldberg was in there. Magic Johnson was in there. Grace Jones, Katie Lang, Little Richard, Joan Rivers, Dinah Shore, Oprah Winfrey, and Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of gay icons, et cetera, et cetera. Was Pee-wee meant to be gay?
Cher?
I always kind of got the feeling he was.
Yeah, was he? Or is he just a kid? What is Pee-wee Herman?
I bet it's more kid-like.
No, he's supposed to be like a kid.
No, that's
I think
more
it's
Mr.
taken
Bean
wrong.
is kid-like.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's all in the representation that some just don't do it as well as others, and instead it comes off creepier instead of,
I think Paul Rubin's straight now.
I'm not so sure about that. Well, yeah, I think he is.
I don't know.
He was. They would have made a big deal about that if he were in a gay porno theater in the 90s. But
right, he was at straight theater.
Yeah, he was watching straight.
I'm looking at the guys, to be honest.
Wow, why would you? Why take the long way around that? Just go watch two guys. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe part of Florida didn't have. I don't know. You should have. These are the questions you should have asked him when you were in front of him.
Yeah, I only got to ask him two questions, and one of them was about Annette Funicello, so I might have blown it. But
yeah.
Hey, VS, you want to know what's crazy about? I'm reading an article about Zsa Zsa. It says that 18 months after her leg was amputated, that's when she realized they were missing.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, she's in bad shape. That's so sad. Old age sucks.
Yeah.
What was she in her late 90s? I mean, she's an old lady.
I'm guessing she wasn't on Daily Runner.
Oh,
That's 5 years
all
too
of this
soon.
stuff. This is the stuff that gets clipped out, and by SJW Spider-Man, and he goes, "Look at what they're doing. They're
Yeah.
making fun of old women being amputated." Well, I wasn't making fun of. Cecil was.
It was
No.
Cecil, not it.
It's to lighten the mood. It's levity because it's a sad
I made an
situation.
observation that she
Y'all
probably
just throwing Cecil right under the bus.
Yeah, I would do that. I would trebuchet Cecil right under the bus in a minute.
How does that level of loyalty make you feel there, Cecil?
Oh, at
How's
this
it
point,
feel?
I'm used to it.
Cecil's just like I kind of expected at this point.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I'm shocked.
By the way, so Ethan,
Yes.
in one of the super chats, they mentioned Hero on Indiegogo. It's worth mentioning those guys actually are going to be working for me on my book, so they're good guys. They check out. They're very friendly to the community.
Yeah, they're good. They're nice guys.
That's not what I heard.
Who's that?
I heard that they were monsters.
What guys are we
I heard-
talking about?
Well,
I
They
heard
do
that the
love
creators of
monsters.
Hero are monsters. That'll actually get more people to check them out. Yeah, go check out was it Indiegogo campaign?
Indiegogo Hero. They are
Hero.
small-time comic pros. One of them, good friend of mine who does work on my projects. He also does work for Heavy Metal Magazine and Vampire the Masquerade and things like that, World of Darkness. So it's very, very small-time indie guys.
Hey, yeah, please, everyone, go check out Hero, and I'm gonna get some more people on. I've got a couple of, I don't know, I've got a couple of new campaigns that are coming up. Somebody showed me a new campaign that actually looks dynamite. That I'm going to be very, very proud to promote. And I hope the guys are good. Here's the thing: not everyone has the easy, I don't know, charisma of someone like Weaponized Nerd Rage. Not everyone can just come on a live stream and just rock it, So I have to worry about Hero and the creators of Hero, and I have to worry about these people. Can they just come here and talk?
Yeah, you've got to. I've had one of them on my channel many times, and he's a good dude. He's the only person to ever, when I bust out a rifle as part of a joke and ping the bolt catch on the rifle, he's the only person to ever respond by doing the exact same thing.
Really?
So he's a nice guy.
Yeah, they had me on their channel one time for an interview, and they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I have to say I'm supportive of that. So I'm going to get some more people in here. I want to kind of just let everyone have their chance to sort of get known. If you fall on your face and you're not very good on YouTube, then I'll just stop inviting you, and I'll tell you to go away. But if you're good on YouTube, and
James Dean, creator of Conflict.
Yeah, James Dean, creator of Conflict, is he pretty good on YouTube? He's a great artist. I don't think Have I seen him? Yeah, I did. He goes on War Campaign.
He's been on my channel. He has his own War Campaign. He has his own channel.
Come on.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, I do like that guy. I think he's all right.
Yeah, you should get him on.
All right. Well, it's him and a bunch of other people that I really want to kind of get in here to get promoted. Oregano Cat says EVS is the gatekeeper. Correct. Go tell him. Go tell him I'm the gatekeeper. Check out Meg, The Meg, actually, by Mike S. Miller. Yes. Go check out Meg by Mike S. Miller. Sarah Whiskey says, get me on EVS. I'm terrible. I need good people, but you're not listening. I need good people.
You know who's good, EVS? The kid from that does the book Lair. Yeah, Gilly. He's really good. He's a nice guy.
Oh, yeah. I've actually heard from him a couple of times. I got to spend just an afternoon like looking at people's Indiegogo campaigns and find my next batch of creators.
All right.
And I like Kyung Lee. We got him on. Kyung Lee's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a keeper. I really like Narwhal. He's a keeper. Kyung Lee's great live too, by the way. Kyung Lee's good to have on.
Yeah, I was just on Mike's channel today with him.
Yeah. He's got a good voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, listen, it is now 11:30. I am going to get back to work here. I've got frogs to draw, but this was a valuable learning experience for everyone involved. I am so happy. Today was a great day, which means tomorrow is going to be right back to war again with these people. But today we won.
Congrats, Zach.
Yay!
All right, Zach. Thanks
you know,
thanks for inviting me, Daddy.
I tell you this with all sincerity. That is not going to go very far.
I'm just playing with you.
All right. D Loves All Things says hero YouTube channel is Misfit Corner Comics. Thank you for the donation. And you guys, we are going to see you again tomorrow. And I don't know. Maybe
video. I'm plugging something for once.
Oh, go ahead. What do you want to plug?
My new video. Everybody check it out. Cecil said.
Yes, it's Cecil Says on YouTube, and the video is called
Comic Book Beatdown.
Comic Book Beatdown.
Yeah.
All right, go find that video, watch it. Hey, by the way, if you haven't subscribed to Cecil yet, what are you waiting for?
The hell are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Hey, do you mind if I plug mine, Ethan?
Yeah, please do.
Don't let him plug it.
It's an up and coming show. It's an up and coming channel. We're having live streams all the time. We're gonna have new videos. Cecil said he's gonna come on to the Question Zone with B. Hennessy. You never know what you're gonna find there. So please go subscribe.
I love it. Yeah, somebody in the chat just recommended that Ava start up her own live stream called the Girls of Comicsgate. And that might be cool. You get like Nerd Wonder and who else?
I know Nerdette. She was reaching out to me, and I think we're gonna try to do a live. I think it's gonna be a live stream, that or just a regular interview, and she'll post it later. I'm not sure which it is, but we're gonna be talking on Friday. So, but yeah, I gotta check out. I don't know if it's gonna be a live stream or just a regular video yet.
Yeah, get Dark Philly, get Mindy Wheeler, get Martina Marcota.
Oh, I've been listening to Mindy. I like
You get Kat Rocha, I think is it, right?
Kat Rocha, yeah. There's so many, and I honestly, I'm not.
29 who did the Wade video. Do you remember?
Dan Fan is awesome. I have not gone back to look at any more of her videos, but that
so good.
Videos are good.
What's her name?
I gotta get her in here.
Dan Fan 29. Trish Cuffari. Trisha Cuffari on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah, she's great. Dan Fan is actually DANN PHANN. That's
okay. Thank you.
So, you will dig her, and so that would be cool. Honestly, Ava, doing that kind of thing. The ladies of Comicsgate, your YouTube channel would blow the hell up. It'd be huge, and I'll pop in there once, and then you can come back on here and promote it whenever you want.
That'd be awesome.
Cool.
I just gotta come up with like questions and shit.
You just come up with
that's the problem. Is like the flow, man.
No, you know what it is? Here's what you do, Ava. I'm going to give you some advice.
Give me some tips, man. I need it.
All right. So just go to one of these comic book channels. Go to Comic Book Resources. Go to Bleeding Cool. Go to any one of these channels. Find an article for the day. Read it through your Comicsgate filter. You know what I mean? So these guys are saying this, and this is what I think, and then discuss it, and then it grows from there. It'll become just a regular discussion. But just have a root topic in mind for a live stream. You can do it. You'll be good at it.
Thank you, man.
All right, guys. With that, I'm going to get back to work. Thank you so much, everyone in the chat. Thank you for the super chats. Thanks for everyone for joining us. We got up way past 2,000 watchers today, so that's cool. Please do hit the thumbs up on the way out. That really helps the algorithm, and it makes it possible for more of these live streams to happen. So thank you, and everybody on the panel. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you guys again soon, friends.
Yeah, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
See you, everybody.